What's up? What's up? And like you say, okay, what's up, brother? When this whole movement is over with, you're gonna be called rich ape, not broke ape. And I've told you this many times before, but let me start this off right. Good night, good evening to everybody. How's your night going? Hopefully, you guys are having a great time. I wanted to do this live yesterday, but yesterday was important to tell you guys, like, kind of set the stage for this live, because yesterday, if you watched the video last night, if you haven't, please go see it. I've explained to people why the market was reacting the way that it is, especially with the rates being paused. It was very important before the FOMC meeting had to come about, and before obviously anybody, like, people were expecting that if the hikes stop, that the market would rip. And as you could see, if you seen yesterday's video, you would have known that it wasn't going to, because all that was factored in the past month or so, when the whole bull market run began to happen. So that's how it works. Institutions, big time players, they get the nod ahead, so they build it up. So by the time that retail gets obviously the news that, hey, we're stopping rate hikes, inflation looks good, it looks like we're taming it, the stop. By the time that retail gets that notion, they're expecting that, okay, now the market is going to go up. But the bullish sentiment has already occurred within this past whole. That's the explanation of why everything in the economy is still screwed up and even worse, and yet the market was still moving up. So I've explained that. If you've seen the video yesterday, you knew what was going to come today, and you possibly could actually make a good amount of money on options to play, obviously away from the meme stocks. At the end of the day, people can do whatever they want to do. I'm not here to tell you what you can and what you can't do. But with good intel, you can make big money on running stocks or volatile stocks throughout the market. And it was a beautiful, beautiful, beautiful night today. And of course, it was a beautiful night yesterday, especially when I made that video. I knew that this was going to happen today. The market maker captured so many people off guard, jumping in, thinking that it's going to be a rip. And, they didn't. They dropped them all day. And at the end, at the last hour, they reversed the whole S&P 500 and major indexes. And next thing you know, the market closed. Technically, it was supposed to be on the bottom. It closed just a little bit above in the green, which means the market maker made bank. Fortunately, but hey, from every situation, there's always a lesson to be learned. Let me say what's up to people before everybody else comes in, before I show you guys some good news that makes everything much easier. A lot of people are always calling out dates. A lot of people on AMC, meme stocks, they're always calling out dates and all that stuff. And you know how we do here, we don't do that. But there's something I want to show you that have not happened except once. And I hinted about it yesterday in the video at the end. So I kind of gave people a teaser. But this thing only happened once on the technical charts. And it haven't happened since then. The last time this thing happened, we saw the first run, which preceded in January of 2021, which preceded the June run up to the new all-time high, obviously, which was the rip that we had back then. So let me see what people are seeing here. I'm seeing some Tesla called broke ape. So you can't be broke ape anymore. You killed the Tesla and SPY. I had some fun with that. Shirley, how are you, my friend? Nice to see you in here. It's always a pleasure. And obviously, I sure do hope so that you're not affected by anything, you and your family. You told me in the comments yesterday that, you and family are in good spirits and obviously away from the Canadian fires. So hopefully it continues to be like that. And obviously, on behalf of me and all my fellow Americans here in the United States, we're here for our brothers and sisters in Canada, as always. And hopefully you guys will all be safe and sound. Cool Runner, AB, you think AMC will run sometime this year? LOL. Cool Runner, you're going to see something cool tonight. It's the right night for your question. Turtle Creek, let's go. And you can add an F to that, so let's effing go. Let's see, who else do we have in here? I'm just giving it a little more time for more people to come in, so we can have a good time tonight. And then on top of that, If you have any ticker symbols that you would like us to look at in some shape or some form or however way you want me to check it out, get them ready. Don't start throwing them in right now so that we can get the important stuff out the way first. We can have the rest of the night. We could have a great night. I'll put the music in the background soon. But first, again, let me continue going through this with people. Good evening. Journey to the center of the universe. Mr. McCohen, as always, thank you for your great service, sir. You are one of my number ones and family as always as well. Hopefully you're great. Let's see. Leah, hopefully you and your family are having a great time. Hopefully you all are great and obviously healthy and sound. Nice to see you in here. Not from this world. We back. Never left. Not from this world. But you're right. We're back. Let's see. What else do we have? I'm happy for you, Broke Ape, again, for killing Tesla and the Spy. And AMD today as well. You know what's crazy is that NVIDIA actually killed the entire market. It didn't care. It stayed in the green all day long, and it had its moments of continuing to go. But we can go through the wide range of the stock market. People, after we finish with AMC, you guys can ask me other questions about other stocks, other companies. We could look at them, and we could see what there is. And we could chit chat throughout the whole. I don't want this to be the longest night ever. Obviously on live, I just want to do a good amount of time. Get the news over to you guys just to get you to see what I saw, and look at the fact that it only happened once before, and that last time that it happened, we had a crazy run, and obviously it preceded the all-time high. Let's see. Jeffrey, where have you been, sir? Shirley, get on Jeffrey. He's been missing for a long time. So he just commented yesterday. I was like, what? Pat Smith, how are you doing? Nice to see you in here, fam. Big songwriter. I've been practicing grabbing my ankles when I bend over for Adam Aaron to give me 90. What was that? Oh, it passed already. To give me 90 what? Let's see. I think somebody took care of it. Oh, I couldn't read the rest of it. Sorry, it already passed, my friend. Let's see. Who else do we have in here? I need this fucker to run by end of July. Well, we all needed to run like 2 years ago. That's just hopefully good news for you, my friend. Broke Ape, yeah, NVIDIA was definitely rocking. AV famous like Amos. He don't bake cookies, he break cookies. I love this. We need to put that as a line in a song, right? We definitely need to put that in a line as a song. Tell me, can you guys give me thumbs up if you hear the music in the background, even if it's really low? I want it to be really low, just for the mood. El Haas, what's your question, brother? Sorry, I didn't see it. The chat is moving by so fast, so much love to everybody. Can everybody hear the music in the background? Even if it's low. Give me thumbs up. And guys, I don't ask for this much, so please hit the like button so that more and more people can see that we're here and come and join. If you love your dear ape brothers and sisters, hit that. Maybe the algorithms will push it to more and more people so they can see the good news. You're only helping more people to see it. You don't hear anything. I don't hear the music. Okay, let's see. Okay. Well, Haas can see it, or can hear it. Let's see. Who else can hear the music? Roberto Ares. What's up, brother? I thought your name was going to be Roberto Carlos, one of my favorite defenders of all time in soccer. Pat Smith, thank you for smashing that like button. See, people like Pat. You're the best. Thank you, Jeffrey. Appreciate you. Let's get more and more and more of our dear brothers and sisters, our 8 brothers and sisters in here. Billy Bats says, you know it. If there is good, I can't hold it within. I have to always share it with people. And again, the fact that this news is like it only happened once before, and we're near. It's not that we're that far away. This it doesn't have anything. The stuff that I will show you will not show that this will, oh, this tomorrow, we're going to do this, or next week, we're going to do this. But it's going to keep your eyes on something. When you see it yourself, you'll know what to do. Okay? The moral of this live, family, is not only to show you the good news of what to project, or what to look forward to, but I want to show you how you can see when things are happening or when things go on. We'll go over that in the live. And let's say the process takes its course and we start ripping or running. When we run, how can you notice when things are happening so that you don't end up, or how could you best make the best educated guess to yourself so that you don't end up as a, I know people are like, want to see the squeeze, they want to see the moas, they want to see the run. That's number one. But when they're there, I've been through the June run-up. I've even had plenty of options throughout the June run-up. Some of the family in here know what, personally for me, I've done back then when that happened. I've been in run-ups like, even with Dogecoin in the past, in 2020. I've been in run-ups in January with GME in the past as well. And in those moments, all the stuff goes out of the window. Your jitters will definitely kick in, and it will be a lot harder to actually press the sell button than to continue to hold. You want me to tell you why? And sorry, people, I'll look at the comments in a second. The reason why the jitters come in and it'll be harder to press the sell button than to actually press it, because you're going to have all those thoughts like, oh my God, this thing, the way that it's going to move, or when it gammas, or when it runs, you're going to be thinking like, this thing could run like the account, the amount of money that is flipping, and the way that how fast it's going up and it's moving. You're all going to be like, okay, wow, just 5 more minutes or something. Like, it's going to mess with your emotions. And by seeing some of the stuff that we will do today in the live, it can give you the best idea, or at least help support you, take care of yourself when that time comes. That's what it's all about ultimately, and what I care about the most. Let's see. I can only see up to when human made comment. AB, are you in AMC for the MOAS and you're out, or are you in it because you love Adam Aron and the company so much? Number one, I'm in AMC for the MOAS. So I'm with my dear 8 brothers and sisters in retail, because that's the class that I'm in, and that's the people that look out best for me, or where my best interest lies. All retail sales, screwed. I'm not in the institutional side. None of you in here in this are on the institutional side. So when it's the best thing in life is to know where you belong, where's your group, and be with it. Now, what happens with Adam Aron and what any of them is, it can, like, again, every person in this life has a path, and the way that you move should like concern no one else but you, your loved ones. Mainly, I'm in it for the MOAS. Hopefully that answers the question. But I will, for sentimental value, continue to invest in AMC afterwards, because when the Band-Aid is ripped off, after that, there won't be too much effort to be done to be done to the stock, because majority of the people would have already been probably moved on. Once this whole thing is all over with and it ends on a happy note, I'm going to be in AMC. AMC did so much good. Even through the rough times, it will still be a sentimental investment for me to be back into. Who's the CEO? Who's the board? It wouldn't matter to me then, because I got what I needed out of it. And to be more clear, I was never into this to make sure that, hey, I love Adam Aron or the board or anyone. Even GME, when I invested in it, I know a lot of people were like, back in those days, people were like, roaring kitty, Wall Street bets, blah, blah, blah. If any of you in here remember those days. And then after that, Ryan Cohen. I never cared about any of that. Of course, it sounds good to have somebody who, speaking of RC, who just purchased, even added more. Him and a bunch of other board members added more to their positions in GME, which is a bullish movement if you're a GME holder or investor. So kudos to everybody in that family. And that's a good sight to be seen. Of course, it's good to see them do that. But when I'm making a position in a company, I'm in the stock market for money. I'm not in the stock market for favoriteness. I'm not here to make like friends with these boards or whatever. Not that they see my investments. At the end of the day, how you feel about yourself is the most important thing. So if I make money, I feel good, look good, you feel good, everything is great. You're not making money, you're going to hate everybody. Right or wrong, everybody could tell me in here. Mr. Number One Son, I can't say your name. I just saw your name in here, so I'm glad. Glad to see you in here, my friend. Hopefully you're having a great night. Thank you so much, Shirley, and everybody for showing the love. Pabloco, how are you, brother? It's amazing to see the family in here. Very, very, very amazing. Trying to scroll up to see if I'm overmissed anybody. El Has, I just remembered. Please write your question again. I haven't seen it. Okay. Yep, Number One Son is in here. Spartak Lacticus. I think that's the closest, even though I butchered it, that's the closest I've ever gotten to it. I think. Everybody give me a woot in the comment section, please. If you don't mind. Give me a woot. All right. Let's see. Sorry, I'm replying. Maybe somebody would like to join. Email if you'd like. All right. All right, look at all this love in here. I want to hit the who commit now, man. I haven't made mine. So after this live, hopefully I'll go and make one. I had to share all that stuff with you guys. Guys, I've said this to one of my family members not too long ago. Some of you family members in this channel have probably heard me say this before. But I'll say this again. If you remember in the beginning of this movement, in the beginning of this journey, the other side, like if you put yourself in their shoes, not that you would love to, but if you put yourself in their shoes, what were their options? Cheat us out of our play. So now that that back then we knew that they were trying to do that, what could they possibly pull? We've seen them in the past 2+ years. We've seen them pull all sorts of shady shit. We've seen them spoof the stock, the orders, all those dark pool orders, routing. They did everything. Naked shorting. If you name it, they did it. If you don't even name it, they also probably did it. They threw everything at us. And here's the thing. Where lastly, I have said this over a year ago personally, when I had this channel started. The only thing they have left is the perception you are defeated. Yes, we do have a lot of, like, this is the worst times that we've had since we began this movement. As far as split in the community, people attacking each other, people calling each other's name. These days, these past few months have brought out the worst in us as a community. It's a shame. I understand. However, we're still here. The most important thing in this is that everybody is holding Now, I hear you. I know there's a lot of people, some people that have sold out of AMC so they could go take, and they got kind of lured into that whole arbitration possibility or an arbitrage. And that's for them. Good for them. However, as an AMC holder from day one, I don't care, and I will hold my ape. But no matter what happens, it's always be for me about my AMC, and that's what it's been. So I have known that their only play left was one, divide and conquer, get the people, and they somewhat have succeeded a little bit in this, in that perception. But there's been so much effort that they have done in the past few years that even this, as a bump in the road, does not alter any of my outlook, personal long-term outlook on AMC in general. Now, if you ask me, what else could they do to change the perception? Let people think that this thing is over with. Keep you down. I had a prisoner, for example, and I wanted them to speak. You know, interrogation, for example, the art of interrogation. When they interrogate somebody in the beginning, they're all standing and they're strong. Really, Bats, I hear you. I want my money too. That prisoner that they're interrogating is as their highest because they just arrested them. Then they start the interrogation process. If you see what they do, it's all about breaking the will. So number one thing, it comes down to this. Breaking down your, that's the only play and the only card that they had to do anything about this. Yes, fundamentals matter. We know on a landscape, like on a large scale, they have pushed this thing down. They've done it to all the companies. This is an attack on the entire stock market, not just on us. A lot more on us, since we are the tipping spear of, in my humble opinion, I think, of all the market. However, they've done it throughout the whole stock market, forcing companies down to bad fundamentals throughout time, and eventually keep pushing their price down so that even when they want to do a shelf offering, it's not enough. And eventually, they're forced to do reverse stock split because they know the number one and most important thing throughout a short squeeze, a gamma squeeze, however, or MOAS, it's all about the shares at that moment. Everything goes out the window. Fundamentals, blah, 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 all that goes out the window. How many shares do you have throughout the moments of the squeeze? When the squeeze is here, it's all about shares. You got 1,000 shares, better for you. The more, the better. And that's how they have been attacking the entire stock market. We've seen it with Sundial. We've seen it with Weisel. We've seen it with so many other stocks that they have pushed down illegally, in my humble opinion, all their stock price. So even when these companies wanted to do a shelf offering or sell some shares or dilution, it was not enough. With time, since the lawmakers want to overlook all this illegal activity for over a few years, act like we're the only ones who know. The whole world knows what's going on except the law. And by doing so, just turning the cheek, they're allowing these people to bring the stock down, hurt the company. So even if it wants to turn left or right, it has nowhere to go but reverse split. And that's their ultimate plan, to try to get us out of our positions. Now, am I scared? Am I pushed? Am I worried? Am I broken down as they do as they interrogate people? If I was the prisoner, F no. I'm not gonna tell. Ape till the day I die. You know, we'll rep that movement now. So I'm gonna share the screen now to go to this chart that I want to show you guys. Not from this world. Thank you. I appreciate the gesture. I appreciate it. Much love to you too, sir. Shirley did not wait for breadcrumbs, because I certainly didn't, and no one in here, I believe, also did. Christopher Santos, I'm done. So much love. No choice but to hold. That's exactly it. Thank you, Mr. Number One Son. I appreciate the sentiment and the kind words. KYP, nice to see you in here as well. KYP is a mod in owning the Float channel, so we're partners in crime over in that realm. But that realm is just in the same universe. We're all family here. All right, let's see. I'm just scrolling up to see if I missed anybody. I don't want to miss anybody. You guys know how I am. It means the world to me to see all my family in here, and I view myself as somebody who's amongst the ranks, nothing better, nothing less, and I just want to give everybody that took out of their time to show up here and give me from their time. I'll give them their rightful respect and their obviously their attention to the best of my ability, of course. Okay, let me try to share this screen. And remember, guys, any questions you have about like other tickers or whatever it is that you would like, we'll save it after this. Let me see how I can grab this. Screen from down here. You guys are definitely. I was really excited when I was looking at this. I've been viewing it for a while to see if we go through it for months, even. And this is why, whenever there was hype about calls, I was always coming out saying, "Be careful! Don't buy into all of this to the moon." Like at that moment, in those times, in those days. So let's see. I think it will pop up now. Or is it? Technical difficulties. Screen is not popping up. Okay, it's not doing that. Then I'm going to share it. Automatic sharing. I'm going to use everybody's help to tell me if they can see what I'm sharing, or like the screen that I'm sharing as far as the art. This thing's moving so damn. You guys like the flag in the background? I love that picture. It shows so much power. Oh, it's Christopher Santos. That was on owning the float. It was Hulk Hogan. Yeah, where's my Red Sox hat? He never gave it. Okay. You guys can probably see that screen now, but that's not the screen that I'm trying to. Thank you, KYP. All right, there we go. Can you guys see my chart now? Let me know if you can see my chart. Actually, hold on. I'll put it up here on my phone to see it. Yes, I can see it. Let's see. Peggy, nice to see you in here. Thank you, Philip Burgess. That's such a wonderful gesture, and I am very humbled by it. Thank you so much. All right, people, let me stop the music because I hear. I don't know if you guys can also hear the music yourselves as well. But let me pause it for a second, and it's damn. Hopefully, it's not lagging also on your guys' end as well. I think the stream is being shorted. Stop the shorts. They're also short in YouTube. Perfect. All right. Here's what I want you guys to pay attention to as far as on the chart. So guys, when I trade personally, I go most of my trading on a daily trade if I do day trades and all that stuff. You're probably wondering like, "Whoa, my God, what is all these lines in here, AB, and all of this stuff?" But what I want you to focus here when I do personally trade, I use moving averages personally. That's what I use on the daily base. 1 second, let me put my picture in the screen so that you guys could also see me. Hey, nice to see you in here, Aliyah. Much love. Journey to the center of the world. I sure do hope so. Honestly, a lot of people I understand, they want to hear something different. Like, hey, we don't want to see a delay. We don't want to see. We want to get our run and all this stuff. But here's the thing: we get a run, and it's okay. Perfect. Now you can see me too. If we get the reverse split, and it will go like that, will be one of the parts that I'll speak up on the charts about. If we run or we had the reverse split before the things that I'm going to show you happen, it's just going to be super. Personally, I'll be upset because again, throughout a squeeze or a MOAS, the most important thing is how many shares you will have then. Because once it starts running, you don't want to be the cat that is trying to catch up and say, "Oh, I'll buy whatever price. Just let me get in on the bandwagon or on the train before it takes off." All right. Let's see where you guys are at. I want to take my face out of the chart so you guys can see what I'm showing as well. What's happening here? Yes, my camera. I know people are like, "Come on, AB, just freaking show us." I'm trying to make sure everybody can see it, guys. Sorry. Me on the side. All right, now let's see. Hopefully you guys could see me on the screen and also on the chart, but it's not moving out of your, it's not out of your, like it's not covering any of the lines. Okay, taking just a few seconds just to see. I'm looking at the other screen. Aliyah, it's not yet officially a run, but you'll see what I'm talking about here. You came in at the perfect time. Want to give a big shout out to my babes Jam Bam. She's not here, obviously, as you guys can see tonight. She was busy with her son, and let me get this thing moving now. So for some odd reason, there is some delay in this in this software or YouTube but we will go with with this whole thing. Now, one thing I want you to show you to, like I want to show to you guys, is when I'm trading, I always use moving averages. Moving averages have been very, very consistent with me the majority of the times. Now, nothing is 100% perfect, yes, but moving averages are a whole lot better than anything else I personally have dealt with before, and it's always going to show you something, and you'll see here what I'm talking about when I show you this. So this takes us back. This is a chart of obviously AMC looking all the way back to even up to 2020 here. You see September of 2020. We were basically moving normal. Now, what these lines show in these colors, I want to show you here that there was the 200, this gold line. This is the reason why it's gold. It's on purpose. I chose that color because it's the golden line, basically. That's what I call it. So we have this is the 200-day moving average. And then the blue is the second most important one, which is the 50-day moving average. And this is to simplify to a lot of people. When you want to look on the chart, and this is why this is really important, and it's all going to make sense as I break it down to you now as we're moving along. And I know people out there are probably like, or unfortunately some people out there are going to come out and they're going to try to put their ifs and buts and whatever, but if it makes sense to you, that's all that matters to me. So going back now, this was right here, this little blip. Let me try to zoom into it. This little blip was actually January of 2021. This is when we had our first initial run up. Right here is June. This is June. Some of you are looking and saying, why does it say 44.61 is our high? We went to the 70s. Yes, we did. But after the split of APE, because I know that they televise it as a dividend, it operated in the form of a split. So because that was derived out of AMC and out of your obviously the common shares, the market cap. So therefore, when the charts got re-updated, our all-time high to the split was 44.61. So in January, normally, and I want to give you guys a few bulletins that you take with you, and these things will, when I break this completely down, will surely help you. I'm not giving financial advice, but will surely help you understand some more things rather than just looking at a price going up or going down and don't know when to go in and when to go out. These things will clarify some of the things so that you can be in the best position for yourself to make the executive decision and say, you know what, I'm cool here, I'm cool there, I see what's happening here, I need to get ready to go there. And I will get into the chart now. So if I don't see any, chats, guys, please don't hold it against me just until I finish breaking down this. So right now, the golden line right here, this golden thick line, I know you guys can see it in here, is the gold. I call it the golden standard, which is the 200-day moving averages. And then the blue one is the 50-day moving averages. Now, once the 50 crosses over the 200 from the downside to the upside, I'll show you like this, like right here. Let's zoom into this. All right, remember our blue line right here. Blue line. And you will see right here, it crossed the yellow line right there. Now, this first run in January, you see these in candles. I'm going to zoom back in, out, so that you can see the better like blip. This January move right here, which was, we remember what happened then when they stopped, when they took the buy button out of the way and they stopped everybody from actually continuing to buy. We were supposed to have our initial MOAS back here in January, but they did their shady shit, and obviously we were brought down. Now look at these lines, how data will show you things or kind of give you an intel into something as it happens in real time. Now, when this right here as you can see, the purple line right there is our 5-day moving average. And then the yellow line, not the gold, the yellow is the 10-day moving average. Now, as you can see, the purple line down here, it crossed over the yellow to the upside. So if the yellow line, which again is the 10-day moving average, is coming down and 5-day moving average is going up and they intersect and they cross each other, if the 5-day moving average is to the upside, crossing the yellow line, which is, and again, it could be any other color, but I chose these colors in my own chart. But when the 5-day moving average crosses the 10-day moving average, that's an inclination of a rise in the price, and you're going to have an up. Look here. We had a purple crossing the yellow right over here. And guess what happened? January 2021 happened. Now, look at this. When the 5-day moving average crosses the 10-day moving average to the downside, guess what happens? The opposite effect of the crossing to the upside. So when the 5-day moving average, so everybody remembers this, crosses the 10-day moving average to the upside, as we see here, purple is on the bottom, it goes, the yellow is on top of it. Purple goes above the yellow, it broke at the top. That, you see what happened here. January of 2021, we had a rise from the 117, and at the time, it wasn't, I understand, but again, this is after the chart got re-updated from APE. So after the split, our price back then, relative to now, was 198, and when the moving average of the 5 days broke the 10 days to the upside on the daily chart, as we see here, now we moved up and we had January of 2021. Now, in January of 2021, look at here, as we peaked, the 5-day, this is when they did the illegal crap. You see that long candle? We were breaking out. Look at that. We were breaking out to our MOAS. That's when they halted the trading. That's when they pulled the stock off with a few other stocks off trading lists from many other brokers. And basically they gave us the good old omelet and bacon order. Now, continue looking here. I'm going to show you the opposite effect. Now, the 5-day moving average, as you can see, the purple, broke or crossed the yellow on the downside from the up to the bottom. So the opposition of what goes up. So the purple didn't break the yellow to the upside. In fact, it broke it to the downside. And when that happens, normally in moving average in terms, it will be proceeded with a downturn in the price value of the stock. Philip Burgess, I can see that one at least, teaching us how to stock, how to fish. AYP, much love to you as well. Thank you so much for the kind gesture. Now we continue the 5-day and the 10-day moving averages is for short-term moving averages and it's for short-term analysis. So that's when it's like just divergences in the moving averages, and normally that's what you would use for weekly trades, for day trades. This is how you see these things happen, so you can utilize those to your advantage as you're doing trading. So you're not just like, okay, this looks like it's low. You know what? I'm gonna jump here, and then it goes down. You're like, oh shit, I got screwed on day trading or whatever. Well, moving averages helps out a lot, people. Again, I'm not giving out any financial advice here. I'm just clarifying personally my own experiences, what I do. So what we see here, here's the cool part, guys. Remember, the blue line was the 50-day moving average, and the gold line was the 200-day moving average. Now, we spoke about the 5 and we spoke about the 10-day moving average. Here's where the creme de la creme happens. On longer terms, the 5 and the 10-day moving averages normally are not as strong for a sentiment or a direction of the stock moving for long periods or long terms, like for a week or two, or perhaps even more. For that, we use the 50-day and the 200-day moving averages. Now, when the blue line, which is the 50 days, crosses the gold line, which is the 200 moving averages days, that is called from the downside to the upside, similar to the purple breaking blue to the upside, or purple breaking the yellow to the upside, which is the 5 breaking the 10. So when the 50-day moving average crosses the 200-day moving average to the upside. That's what you call a golden cross. A lot of people here, you probably have come around some channels or some areas where they tell you golden cross, golden cross. Well, that's what a golden cross normally is. Golden cross is when a long-term moving average, similar to the 50, breaks the 200 to the upside. And normally, most of the times, when that happens, more than 90% of the time, it's preceded with what? Bullish sentiment. Let's let the data and the charts show you. Don't take my word for it. Let's back out of this so you can see better. Here, we bring us to the June moment. Right here, back in, and this will explain to you when a lot of people ask me, like, hey, AB, how did you know to get options and start loading to options AMC back in like April, March of 2021? Why then? Well, if you see here, dear family members, right over here after January BS happened, look at the gold. You remember the gold? The gold is our gold. The gold is our 200-day moving average. Now look at the blue line, this blue line right here. That's the 50-day. Right here, you see the blue line is below the gold. And right over here, it intersected and it broke it to the upside. And when was this? About February 22nd, in the last week of February of 2021. So that's why back then I said, okay, wow, look, the amazing part about it is that we were at our very low at that time in the 8s and 7s. Because again, we didn't have a split of APE. So now it shows on the chart that it was around $2.94 or $3, but I know we were around $6 and $7 at the time. So I started loading up on cheap options back then, and that's why it did what it did at that time. Now, when the 50-day moving average broke 200-day moving average to the upside in February, guess what happened then? Here, let's keep this right here. I'm going to try to draw a dot so you guys can see that when I zoom out of it, you guys can see what exactly happened. Draw, let's see, a line right here. All right, good. You see these two dots, the white dots with the line in between them? That marks where the break happened. Now let's zoom out of this and watch this, people. Remember, when the 50-day breaks the 200-day averages to the upside, that's when you have a golden cross. And back then, that's when we had a golden cross. Now, what do you see here? This was the moment we just highlighted. This is the moment right there when I was personally loading up more besides my share position on actual calls. So when that happened, that gave me the inclination that guess what? We just had a golden cross and we crossed the 50-day, 200 day moving average to the upside. Look at this. What did you have? What did we experience since then? Since February all the way to June, what did we experience? Upside movement. Now let me show you this. This is where you personally start. Like we have some things that you're gonna see now, leading all the way to the day that we're on in right now, that will definitely get you excited as much as it excited me. As you can see, again, follow the blue line. That's why I marked the 50-day. It broke the yellow line and the gold line, and it never went under. Didn't break it right back down to show a downward movement. And I will tell you what the name of that is in technical terms. But we still, after that break in February, the market continued for literally about 3.5 months, all the way until the end of May, because that's when the move started happening for AMC before June 2nd. But it continued to move to the upside. You see, look, the blue line that we had, the 50-day never broke down the gold line back down to the downside. Zoom back out. Look at the 2 dots that we made back here. Sorry for the lags. This thing is moving so damn slow. But the most important thing is that you guys can all hopefully obviously understand when we walk out of this. Remember this line? That's where the position was initiated personally for me. And when the blue line of the 50-day crossed over the 200-day right there in that instant. And ever since then, as you can see, we've had different averages. And I'm going to show you right here why the 5-day and the 10-day that I explained to you first, the purple and the yellow, how in short-term periods, it's great indicators versus why in long period, it's obviously all about the 50 and the 200-day moving averages, at least for me, right? So since the 50-day crossed the 200-day right here, that mark where these 2 white dots are, guess what? We had upward movement. Guess what also crossed to the upside? The purple line, which is the 5-day moving average, and it crossed the yellow line, which is 10-day moving average. It crossed to the upside. Guess what? That's an indication that normally you're going to have an upward movement in the price. So guess what happened there? Upward movement in the price. Look over here now. In March 19th of 2021, the 5-day moving average, which is the purple line, crossed the 10-day moving average, which is the yellow line, to the downside. Guess what right there at that moment? It was 3/24/2021. Guess what came after that moment? What did we say about that? When it crosses it to the downside, you get downward movement. Did we get downward movement? We did get downward movement. But on a long-term scale, we're looking mainly for long-term. Again, for short-term, we're using the smaller moving averages, the 5-day to the 10-day. Now, for long-term, we're using the 50-day to 200-day moving averages. Ever since back in February, the 50-day crossed the 200 average point, we never looked back down. The 50-day, as you can see, the blue line here, continued to break away from the gold line, the 200 moving average. Now look at this, people. You're going to see this on both averages, on both EMAs. You're going to see it on the 5-day and the 10-day. You're going to see this on the 50-day and the 200-day. So ever since we had that golden cross in February of 2021, we never looked back down. We just continued to use the weeklies, the 5-day to 10-day moving averages. And obviously, as you can see here, look, we broke it down to the downside right there. The purple from breaking down from the 5 to the 10-day moving average to the downside, and we had downward movement. And right over here, the purple, which is the 5-day moving average, crossed the 10-day moving average to the upside. And guess what? It gave us an upward movement. In those small moments, look, this was literally right there, May 13th of 2021. This was about a week, exactly a week before the madness occurred. It started moving up, and the rest was history, as you can see. Look, the purple is the 5-day and the yellow is the 10-day moving average. As you can see, both are straight up pointing to the moon, as we did go to the moon, continued to move up to the moon, not looking back down until obviously we met the all-time high, what was back then. And there's a lot of theories to why. Back then we started having some talks about dilution, blah, blah, blah. But big institutional dumps started happening. And look here. The 200, keep your eye for a long-term period. We had the blue line is the 50-day moving average, and the gold line is the 200-day moving average. This is going to psych you guys out once you fully, hopefully understand exactly what I'm showing you as we get through this. Now, after the June 2021, look at the moving average of the 5-day and the 10-day, okay? The 5-day right up here in June 24th breaks the 10-day moving average to the downside, and we started having choppy movement because it crossed it right back down. It never really crossed up to the upside. Resistance was heavy, and guess what? as the clear break that happened on the 24th of June, from the 5-day to the 10-day, moving averages to the downside. Guess what? That's when we had our first major drop from the all-time high that we had back then. Look, it broke down to the downside. And what did I teach you guys or tell you guys? Once you get the moving averages of the 5-day crossing the 10-day moving averages to the downside, it's normally followed by down movement. What did we have here when the purple crossed the yellow to the downside? You see it right there, right? Hopefully you guys all can see it, because I'm not just showing it to myself or talking to myself. I'm eating Kenny's poo. What's up, brother? How are you? And as it broke it to the downside, look, we dropped from what was then 35.22 or 35.42 down all the way to $22.23, which was basically about a $13 drop. That's what happened back then. So the technicals right here are on the spot, people. Hopefully you're following and you're following along with what exactly I'm telling you here, because these, looking back on those times, is showing you. And this is a simplified way of looking at things. You don't need no whatever. Like, I don't want to bring anybody down by saying this. Everybody has different technicals, but the idea of trading is how to be as efficient, fast, and as consistent as possible. And how simplified can you make your trading be? And that's what it's all about at the end of the day. It doesn't matter if you do some crazy other technicals where you use, for example, Elliott waves. Amazing. I know how to use Elliott waves. But when you use Elliott waves, you got to go through so much. And sometimes you don't know when waves end, as they do their 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, and you don't know when the ABC is all over. So with that being said, we don't want to get into Elliott waves and all the other stuff, or fractals or whatever. I'll leave that to the other experts for the other stuff. For me, I love simplifying the living shit out of my trading so I can continue to be successful. So far, as you can see, if you're following along, you're seeing how the data is telling you when yes, when no, when down, when up. So when the 5-day crossed the 10-day moving averages to the downside over here, guess what? Right there, anybody who knows what I'm saying right now would have instantly said, if this was not a day trade, because again, AMC is about it's not about stupid a few dollars here and there, at least for me. But anybody else, a day trader, would look at this. Oh, we just crossed to the downside from the 5-day moving average to the 10-day moving average. I'm collecting profits, or I'm dumping my position right here so I can buy back right down here. Guess what? There are companies out there that create these algorithms that people pay crazy money for. Again, it's ludicrous to me, but they pay ludicrous amount of money so they can have buy and sell trigger signals. And it's literally all these algorithms in my humble opinion, I think all they do is what I'm telling you now. Moving averages, and they use it on multiple. It's all calculated, so it makes your life easy. So if you like to trade, you don't even have to pay any of that stuff. You can study this whole thing on your own and know it all. Now look at this, people. On the 5-day, keep your eye on the 50-day, which is the blue line. I highlighted for you here, and keep your eye on the gold, which is the 200. These two are going to be very important for us coming toward the end of this thing soon, as I show you this, because that's what will be the good news that ultimately, hopefully, all of you will get from me throughout this. Hey, Mr. Fernandez, how are you, brother Adrian? Nice to see you in here. I couldn't take my eye off to just say hi to. And Mr. Gorilla Grod, what's up, brother? How are you and your loved one as well? So as you keep your eye, as we're moving along with this chart, family, as you keep your eye on the gold and the blue line, which is blue line is for the 50 days, the gold line is for the 200 days moving averages. If you keep your eye now on that for short-term periods, we're going back to the 5 and the 10-day, which are the purple and the yellow. The purple is our 5 and the yellow is our 10-day moving averages. Now, right here, the purple, which is the 5-day moving average, breaks up to the upside, the yellow. We had a small movement, but guess what? There was a fake out. It broke back to the downside. And what does that signal? Down movement in the price value of the stock. And it moved down right there, as you can see. Now, let me do this. Zooming out so we can have a whole big chart to look through. Now, as we moved along, we had a downward movement all the way until August of 2021. Look at this. What do you see right here, people? What have I so far taught you about the moving averages of, at least for now, for the 5-day and the 10-day? Look, August 16th of 2021, we had the purple. Maybe somebody can tell me in here. Maybe somebody in here could tell me in the chat. What do you see here happen? What happened here on August 13th of 2021? Please put it in the chat. I want to know if people are following along. I want to know if people understand what I'm saying right here. So what do you guys see here? What happened here on August of 2021? What happened to after the major drop we had from June, all the way till August? What did we have here? If you guys remember, that was back then when the hype was saying, oh, we're back to MOAS and all that stuff. Tell me, what did you guys see in here on August 13, where I have the cursor at? What did the 5-day moving average do with the 10-day moving average? The purple and the gold, the purple and the yellow. What did the purple 5-day moving average do? Andrew, Mr. Andrew, how are you doing, my friend? I'm waiting for answers. Come on, people. Show me that you understand what I'm showing. What did the yellow line, which represents the 10-day moving average, and what did the purple line, which represents the 5-day moving average, represent? Or what did they do on August? Okay, so we have 5 days crossed, 10 days, the upside. Thank you. I can't say the first word of your name, but I'll say Nguyen. Hopefully I didn't butcher the name. So yes, it crossed the 5-day moving average, crossed the 10-day moving average to the upside. Guess what that tells? Upward movement in the price. A day trader will look at this moment and load it up. For example, seeing it go up from this position right for this moment, August 13th at $20.49. And right over here, what happened again? Purple, which is the 5-day moving average, crossed the yellow down to the downside, signaling the end of this upward movement and a change of the direction that back down to the downside, because the 5-day right here crossed the 10-day on to the downside, and we know what follows that as far as when moving averages happened. So if the person bought here at 20 and 60 cents, they would have gotten the message here that at $29.60, so basically a $9 rise, they would have been basically sell. Now, day traders, I'm not saying this for you to do this with AMC. You could do whatever you want to do. What I'm showing here is for you in other trades, whether it's with the Tesla, whether it's with the SPY, whether it's with whatever it is you're seeing, or any other stock. Once you see this and you day trades, I'm not teaching you exactly what to do. I'm teaching you what I do. And if it means anything or does anything good for you, hey, it means the world to me. So it crossed it again here on September 17th to the downside, and that ended the cycle to the upside. Now, guess what, people? Thank you, Bob Loco. Thank you. Look at this. Now I'm going to zoom out to bring us all the way to this day. Now, we passed June of 2021, and unfortunately, the happiest days of our lives, which was back then, are in the rear view mirror. Now we're moving forward, right? That's what life is all about. I hope you all kept your eyes on what? The 50-day moving average and the 200-day moving average, the blue line and the gold. I know we use the yellow and the purple a lot because they're more for short-term movements in the price stock of the stock, but for long-term in the stock of bullishness, you saw back here when the 50-day crossed the 200-day moving average, which was the blue crossing the gold to the upside. You saw what happened. We had this thing started right back here in January, almost February 22nd, right there. February 22nd of 2021. And that bullish movement in the price action continued all the way up till June of 2021. So you're talking about literally about a 4-month move or behavior for a stock price, which is pretty significant. That's the power of the 50-day crossing the 200-day moving averages, which is again the in technical analysis terms, which is what's called the golden cross. Now, you guys have kept your eyes on that gold and the blue lines, as I kept showing you, but we had to go through the purple and the yellow for short periods, just so you guys can understand how it works and so you guys can see the power of it and how it operates, right? So now you see here a bunch of, if we're looking from far out in here, you probably see just like I do, purple crossing the yellow to the upside. Upside movement in the price, yes. It indicates upward movement in the price. We did get upward movement in the price. Great job. Now, right here, we had the purple in November 22nd or November 24th, 2021. We had the 5-day moving average crossing to the downside the 5-day, the purple line crossing down to the downside of the 10-day moving average, which indicates a downward movement. Guess what? Look at it. Here's the purple. I'm going to highlight it. See the purple? Crossing the yellow. That's the yellow. Purple is right above it. Crossing the yellow down to the downside, not to the upside. Guess what do we have? Downward movement in the price. Now, here's something that is huge and very important that you guys all have to keep your eyes on, okay? Just like we had the golden cross back in February of 2021, and then we had the runs which led up to June 2021, there's something called when the 50-day moving average, which is the blue line we're focused on right there, crosses the 200-day moving average to the downside. Now, that's the opposite of a golden cross. It is called a death cross, unfortunately. And guess what? What do you see here, people? The blue line, the 50-day moving average, exactly on January 5th of 2022, we broke the 50-day moving average, broke and crossed the 200-day moving average to the downside. At that point, we initiated a death cross, which when a death cross happens, it's basically the opposite of a golden cross. It shows you that the sentiment of the stock moving forward is going to be negative. We're going to have downward movement. Did we have downward movement? Look at this. Not only did we have a death cross on the 50 and the 200, we also had a cross from the 5 on the 10 to the downside, and both technicals triggered, guess what? Look, the 5 and 10 day preceded the death cross of the 50 and the 200, and because it's for shorter terms, it was ahead of that, as this one cultivates over longer periods, for longer periods of price behavior of the stock. And eventually, guess what? They both were spot on. We moved down in the price. Yeah, we had downward movement. Now, let me zoom out after the death cross area right there that we had. Ever since then, what did we have, family? The gold line, as you can see, the 200-day moving average has been above us. That's what that shapes us up to be. Literally ever since this moment, my family, ever since January 5th of 2022, which is exactly a year and a half ago, ever since we had that death cross, We were from that moment on in a position for a golden cross whenever that materializes. What do I mean by that? Look here, the golden line is above and all the other moving averages are on the bottom. Of course, as you can see here, the purple breaks the yellow, which is the 5, breaks the 10. Right down here to the upside, guess what was that? What did that indicate? A run. And what happened? A run. That was back in March 18th of 2022. I remember that run. And it ran all the way up to March 30th of 2021. And then the 5-day crossed the 10-day moving average back to the downside right there. And guess what followed that? Down movement right there. But keep your eye on the gold line, the 200-day moving average. Look at this. Now, once we get to this part, I want you guys to tell me this. Look at this. Ever since the death cross back in January of 2022, a year and a half ago to be exact, we were on a down movement. Obviously, we had some of our rips, but our rips were between the shorter term moving averages. But guess what, people? Philip Burgess, when the price is above the 200, can only buy when the price is above the 200. You can only buy when the price is below the 200. You can only sell. So, Philip, you're on the right path. So as you can see here, this is my trigger right there. Once you see here, this is up to date right here, all the way up to guess what? June 14th. Today, look at all our moving averages, people. Do you see the great news that I'm trying to show you here or what? This doesn't show you a date. This doesn't show you a time. My point of this news wasn't to give you a look, tomorrow we're breaking up. All these people are fools will give you dates because they're operating based on bullish mindset or hype material that could or could not materialize. I go off of facts, or I go off of data that precedes or that goes real time with what's about to happen. That's when I know not to play the guessing game. I don't guess. I go with what is factual. So look at this. Leading up to now, all our moving freaking averages are literally lined up next to each other. Our blue line is our 50-day moving average, as you can see, is right there. And our blue line is, guess where? Is at 506. This is why yesterday we broke to 515. And obviously, people were asking, why did we get to 515 on the day? And then we were instantly brought right back down. Because we were on our way up to break, guess what? From this moment right here, as we speak right now, our 200-day moving average is at 595. So breaking 6 would instantly at that point would form the 50-day moving average, breaking the 200-day moving average. Now, for good measure, I need to see a clean break, which means once I see it somewhere in around $697, in my humble opinion, that will be the initiation of the change of direction of the price sentiment of the stock. So it could take, as you could see back then, it could take a month, 2 or 3. But when the golden cross happens, it indicates instantly that there's a lot more buying, and most likely that will be short covering, that will be changing ultimately the direction of the stock to the upside. Smart traders buy when they see the change in the behavior of the stock. People in the stock market are day traders, for example, and day traders have nothing to do with what I'm talking about here, but it is another factor that belongs in the stock market. Excuse me, I'm kind of like almost losing my voice because I'm talking, and it's very exciting. Once you see that this thing is below the 200-day, normally you're like, based on how far it is, as you can see right here, if we go back to 2022 and the end of 2021, we had the death cross initiate right there. No day trader will go to a stock and buy it in these ranges anywhere right here, because this is why a lot of people say, hey, I'm bag holding. I bought it at the 40s. I bought it in the 30s. I bought it in the 20s. Well, guess what? You're not the only one. Because this to me is not a day trade. To me, I bought AMC in the 50s, in the 60s, in the 40s, in the 30s, freaking 20s, in the 10s, and even leading up to now. Why? Because I know what this play is. It's not a freaking day trade for me. And I don't speak for no one else. This is just my own opinion and my own, what drives me for this stock. So, but normal, like other day traders who treat this as a day trade will not buy the stock anywhere in these areas in 2021, 22. You can see the data right there. But now, as we are very close for all our moving averages, as you can see, we're we're so freaking close. Now, if we zoom in here, look. If I zoom in here, guess what we're looking at? Let's look at the short term. Since we see that the 50-day, the blue line, is very close to the 200. And look at the 200. It's moving down. The blue is just moving steady. But basically, the yellow will eventually, at some point, obviously, is going to be broken by the blue to the upside. Because the gold right now, the gold is on top. So soon, we're going to see a golden cross materialize. There's no ifs and buts about it. And like, that's just what's going to happen because that's what the setup is. The 200 is above the 50-day. And eventually, as this is moving down, we're coming down to we're going to meet somewhere here in between. And that's when we obviously break up. Right now, as we speak right now, it's a 595 is the 200-day average. And the 50-day moving average is at 506. So as the 506 goes up, break through. Now here's one thing I want to show you for perhaps even tomorrow. This has the extended hours. Look, I'm going to take the extended hours out of the way for aftermarket. I'm going to show you, here's where we closed. Remember, the purple is our 5-day moving average and the yellow is our 10-day moving average. This is for short periods of moving divergences. Throughout the day today, we had, leading up to the close, you see we were barcoding most of the time and we basically didn't have much volume. What did we have? 15, 25 million on the day today? I'm going to get to all the chat and the comments in just one moment, brothers and sisters. I just need to get this finally. But yeah, we had 15 and a half in total volume. As you can see, that is nothing. And it makes a big, this is a big reason right here. You see, as we barcode through this, the moving averages is also close. Soon, something is going to break it to the upside. The 50 is going to reach the 200 and break it to the upside because the 200 is above it. So there's no way but to break it to the upside. Now, in the short period time, which is the 5 and the 10-day period, let's look at this. Let's see if this data is correct, okay? Throughout the day today, we were at 493 on the high. The 5-day, which is the purple, breaks the yellow line, which is the 10-day moving average, and it breaks it to the downside. At that point, it indicates downward movement, but obviously not huge because it's not a long period of moving averages. You see right there, boom. It breaks it to the downside, signals downward movement. What did we get? Downward movement, which led up actually on the low for the day right there. Well, not the low. Actually, the low was 482 earlier. We can go back to this one even. This one is even cooler and even clearer. See, purple breaks the yellow to the downside right at that point right there. That's when people, in other words, and I hate saying this because it bothers me, but that's what people who use algorithms or high trading algorithms like institutes, this is where they open up a short position, like intraday short positions. So they ladder attacks basically. You see here the purple crosses the yellow. At that point, that was an indication for any trader at that point, especially people with algorithms, with all that system and offices. that a downward movement, and guess what? It resulted from 490. We had it basically broke to the downside, which resulted in us trading all the way in the low for today at 482. You see, from 490 to 491 to 482, which doesn't sound like a lot for shorts or people who don't want this thing to rip. This is basically the ladder attacks that throughout the day. Okay, borrow, do your thing, buy back at the lower price right there, return the shares to where you borrowed them from, so that you don't have to pay borrow fee on that, except the percentage. So let's say AMC is 120% for borrow rate. Let's say the cost to borrow is 120%. So basically, if they need just right here, short would borrow whatever X amount of shares, since we only had like 15.5 million a day total. They will borrow a good amount, like a big block, and they will dump it right there. And they will, you see that big candle right there? Two of them, one right there, but this is the huge one. That's a short right there. Boom, bought it back right here, returned them. They only paid the fee, which is like a few $1,000s on the amount for that, so that they don't keep it for more days. You see what I'm saying? And then that's how they can ladder attack us and control the price of the stock. I know what these guys do. Many of you know what they do, but we can see it. For me, I can see it in real time and how they do it exactly. And throughout the day, we also had another situation where, see, this is where the short-term moving averages, like the 5 and the 10-day, are very normally scary, because only in certain instances. That's why I said nothing is always perfect. For the most part, it is, but nothing is perfect. Now, as you can see here, we broke the 10-day to the upside, from the purple breaking the yellow to the upside. But guess what? We were met instantly right back down. What solves that sometimes is when you see the RSI. If the RSI is moving downwards normally, because it precedes the moving average, as you see that changing instantly, that's a fake out, and you see that it went back down, it crossed the yellow to the downside, which brought us back down a few cents, and then it crossed it again. So you see how choppy it is over here. This was a nightmare of an area for anybody that wants to like day trade this. And again, for anybody who day trades this, because I hate day traders who day trade AMC. If you're out there, hopefully you had fun with this part right here today, and lost your mind, or probably lost your ass off. Sorry, that's just how I feel about day traders who trade this stock. And then we had a break of the 5-day crossing, the purple crossing the yellow to the upside, and as you can see, that signifies a upward trend in the price. And what happened? It moved up. This was just today. Now let's look at this. As we came to the close, we were met with a big, obviously red candle right there. But what did we end with? The purple line, which is the 5-day, breaking the yellow line, which is the 10-day moving average, to the upside. So we did have a moving up, and then 4 o'clock happened, and the the market went into after hours. Now look at this. As we hit 4 o'clock, you see the 5-day is pointing downwards, and the 10-day is moving upwards, which means signifying that in the aftermarket, there's a possibility that the 5-day moving average is going to cross the 10-day moving average to the downside, resulting in a downward movement of the stock. Now, of course, in a few cents, because we don't have much volume in AMC, but this is just showing. So that's what it's indicating. Now, if we open up the after hours trading, what do we see here? Second, zoom out. Right there. In the after hours, the purple did indeed cross the yellow to the downside. It brought downward price in the price action, and then as you can see here, the purple We broke the 10-day moving average again to the upside, which indicates an upward movement. So we moved up again. This is so hilarious because you're talking about from 491, 492, 493, just a couple of cents. Because again, this is the price that we're at. They have to be extra careful with how much we move. This mainly explains why, besides the case that we're going through with AMC, this mainly explains why the lower volume in AMC, because we are at such a pivotal point. Let me zoom out of this so you can see what the pivotal point is. Let you stare at it with your own eyes. We are at such a pivotal point, us and them, to the point where they have to watch out, legally and illegally, what they do with us. Yes, Alan Kamatsky, nice to see you in here, brother. I just saw your thing, so glad to see you in here. Thank you all for hitting the like button. It definitely brought a lot more people and family members or other apes, brothers and sisters in here to see this. So as you can see, they have to watch out. All the way since the January run up in February of 2021, we have not been in the same position ever since then. So it's been literally over 2.5 years since the last time we've been in this position. I showed you back here, my family. I showed you back there how the blue line, which is the 50-day moving average, crossed the gold line, which is the 200-day moving average, to the upside back here. February of 2021. See that? The clean. Right there. Crossed the gold right over there. Boom. We had the initial run up in January, then it cleanly broke it in February to the upside. The 50-day moving average crossed the 200-day, which resulted in a golden cross. And since then, that gave birth to what? June of 2021, which is right. Oh, sorry, I'm zooming in instead of zooming out. It gave birth to June 2021. And that's when we basically had our, obviously, our all-time highs. Since then, we have never been in the same position. As you can see, the gold line, and it's very clear to see here. Sorry that it's moving slow and it's lagging on my side and probably on yours as well. See, ever since January of 2021, we have never been in the same position all the way leading up till now. This is why I'm so excited, because now we're creeping up. Look, since June of 2021, our 200-day moving average has been way in a different stratosphere, way high above. Our 50-day has been dancing around illegally, but basically they were making sure that we don't reach or recross that line ever again. We haven't. All the way leading until basically now. We are in such a pivotal point that, sorry, I'm zooming in. Zooming in. I'm gonna look at all the questions soon, family. Sorry, just give me a moment. I finished it through this. And that was on the 1 minute. Ever since then, this is on the daily, we have not been in the position that we're at in January of 2021. This is what the data says, not just what the sentimental value is or what we want it to be or how we look at it. We're looking at the long-term picture here. Ever since, you see here, I'm not the only one seeing this. I'm showing you what I go with and what I've seen. Ever since, and this is June of 2021 right here. Our 200-day has never, we were never in the same setup as January of 2021. ever since then. You see the death cross right there. It's so freaking clear. That happened in January 5th of 2022. You see the 50-day, the blue line, breaking the gold line, which is the 200-day moving average, the downside. And guess what? Ever since then, what did we have? Downward movement. Look, keep your eye on that blue line. The closest we ever got, look, you see here, this was a crucial moment. This was a very crucial moment. And this, what I'm going to tell you right here, will probably make you sick to your stomach, because it made me sick to my stomach. Look how close we were here, breaking the 50-day to break the 200, have a golden cross yet again, and basically run. Right here. You see that? Please tell me yes, you can see this in the chat. Please, people, tell me you can see how close the 50-day was close to break the gold line to the upside, which is, this is blue is the 50 and the gold is the 200. Look how close it was. I wonder what happened in September of 2022. You see how we were going to break right there? Can anybody point to what happened in the August, September of 2022 era? Thank you, Grod. Thank you, not from this world. Right there. We were going to have a golden cross right here. That was the closest moment since January of 2021. Roberto, I'm glad you see it. What happened here? What happened in the early part of September of 2022? Isn't that around the same time when APE was issued? That's exactly what happened. Yes, Myers, is exactly what it was. A halt, APE issuance, the dumping of the stock to basically force us in downward movement. Ever since then, yep, you got it right, Alan. G Money on the spot. You're on the money. Orlando, the AMC shares was given. Look, data does not lie, people. People could. I don't believe in any CEO or boardman or blah, blah, blah. We can leave all that on the side, but I need to understand, if we're doing a personal investigation right now, me and the family, we're doing a personal investigation to see exactly what the hell, like, we know, like, now that you understand what the moving averages are and how they operate, and you've seen them go to work throughout this chart. And we can put up other stocks, by the way. I can put up any other ticker that you guys want in here, and we can look at it and break it down analytically, just like this, to see that the moving averages that I apply work exactly the same. It is so crazy that just around this time right here, the data does not know any freaking any issuance. It doesn't know any filings or anything. It just operates. It's just a chart. It's not going to tell you exactly when the squeeze is going to happen, but it'll definitely show you what's about to happen. That's an important thing. There is Mike. What's up, owning the float? How are you, brother? Brother, if you want to come on, you're welcome at any given time. We just finished the break of the technical analysis and the good news. I can email you if you send me in a message your email. I can email you the link so that you could be on this chat as well. You could use it with your service. You don't have to necessarily use it with your phone, but you could use it with either. If you would like to come on, you are more than welcome. Me casa, su casa, you know, and hopefully, you know, you're having a great night as well. Oh, LMNOP, huh? Is that what you want? So as you can see, people, this was what made me so sick to my stomach at that point, because the data does not lie. Like when I saw it, as you can see, we were creeping up right there with the 50-day moving averages in August. This is when we had that run, remember? In August, people were buying up AMC like crazy because they made the announcement about the issuance of APE. So many people, including institutions, were buying up AMC shares so that they can get 1-to-1 ratio of APE. And August 16 right here is when we had that peak at that time. And obviously when, as you can see here, the 5-day moving average crossed the 10-day moving average to the downside, guess what happened? It indicated that there will be a down movement in that stock, and a down movement in that stock did happen. And as you can see here, that if we're looking on longer terms, the 200-day, the gold line was going down, rightfully so. And the blue line, which is the 50-day moving average, was moving up so close. We were meeting, and something happened in the beginning of September that obviously brought the 50-day moving average down on AMC. And as you can see, we came so close to break it right there, guys. Came so freaking close to break it. So it's crazy how. Yeah, if, KYP, you want to be on? Anybody who would love to come on and hear from the family, you're more than welcome to come on. So as you guys can see, this was what made me sick to my stomach. But nevertheless, you know, it doesn't end with one situation. As you can see, the 50-day moved downwards, and the 200-day could continue to come from that moment in late 2022, this past year. After the issuance of APE, we obviously, the data, not me, not AB telling you, the data shows that we continue to go down further. The 50 days far away from the 200-day moving average. And now look at this. We're right back to the most bullish position ever since January of 2021 / June of 2021. and here's two things that could possibly happen, and I hope that one of them is not the case. Okay, because again, AB is always going to give you what AB thinks and feels. I don't care about people who wants to just hear something and that's all they want to hear. I'm not here to give you that. I'm here to give you what I see and what I think and what I feel. It's up to you to take it, family. And of course, I'm always open for corrections and all sorts of things. Nobody's perfect in this life. But here's the two things, and one of them I hope is not the case. So as we are stepping up, the data shows us here that the 50-day moving average is literally only $1 or less away from breaking the 200-day moving average, which will result in a gold, which will take us back, as we saw back in January of 2021 and June of 2020, resulted in our all-time highs and our massive gamma. We are literally within that range of gamma / possibly months. One thing that could happen is what exactly I just said. we cross before any reverse splits happen or anything happens. We cross and we move up to the upside, and everybody will live happily ever after. MOAS happens at that moment, or a nice crazy run up like June of 2021 happens. Once that golden cross materializes, that's my number one possibility for it. I hope for it. Second one is that the price naturally moves up if they were to commence a reverse stock split, which sends the price up. Technically, on the price charts, it sends the price up, which when it gets recalibrated on the charts, we would materialize in a golden cross. So what does that tell me? That even if it's number two, and unfortunately, if a reverse stock split was to go through, because again, I'm going to keep it raw and real with you guys, that will still indicate, if the golden cross is formed, that we will have a very nice run. How much, I don't know, but we do. This is why I started with this live. The most important thing in any gamma or any short squeeze or any MOAS is how many shares do you have? Because that's when you can better collect profits here, be less leveraged there and here. Hopefully you get the point. And this is exactly what I wanted to show my dear family, brothers and sisters, as far as the bullish news is that, or the great news for me is that the data tells me what I saw back then that I loaded up on that went crazy for me on my options in June 2021. This is exactly how I did it. This is how I followed. This is what I still use for my day trading with other stocks. As you can see here, my list is massive. Like I got, forget the cryptos right now, but I got Tesla right there, GME, Sundial, PLTR, XPIV, which has a huge potential in my humble opinion. Future, talking about flying freaking cars. Neo, LI, Lee. Unfortunately, our ex-soldier BBIG, who got screwed on a reverse stock split massively. Of course, we got Amazon as one of my beloved day trades on options and puts, calls and puts on a day, every day. We got Mara, Riot. That was a really lovely play, a couple of plays, Mara and Riot. I remember without even looking here, Riot reached like a $2 range on the low, just 2022, like toward the end of 2022. And Mara was in the $3 range. And they obviously, as you can see where they at now, tens and the nines. And they even had a much higher run just a go to like to the $14 and $13 range and $16 range. That was really, really beautiful on calls. As you can see here, I got MVAX, which I have something, I think in future will be something special about it. We can look at other stocks or other ticker symbols if you guys would love to see exactly these moving averages, how they move. Of course, my one and only SPY, my beloved SPY, Microsoft here, Room, Costco, not too fun to day trade with, not too much volume on it. It's not as volatile, so I steer away from that as much. Sunrun is a great company for when I ever see it around its lows, on like the 52-week lows. I normally take positions in this company. This company is an amazing company. I think it relatively holds up its value for the most part. Again, none of this is financial advice. So here, hold on. Let me also add this guy so I can see. All right, now the change has been done. It's been long awaited for. The market is crashing. AMC will show the largest historical golden cross you ever seen. Patience is a virtue. Sway Recordings LLC. I so totally love that sentiment and agree with that. That beloved ape right there. Snap, Meta. Meta has the potential. Keep your eye on Facebook, aka Meta. It is, in my humble opinion, something massively negative happens in the market. Meta has like just, you're talking about less than a year ago, it was in the $80 range. It had a very high, and its fundamentals are not good. They're trying to make it off of, they try to survive with this virtual AI world and all this stuff, but all that shit is going to come down to bite them. So keep an eye on this so that when you see something, let's click on Meta real quick. Let's see. Sorry for all the people who put things. I've only seen a few of these, so if anybody has any questions or anything they want to say, you could definitely put it now. Now I'm looking at the comments and everything. So let's look here using my same. So Facebook, complete bullish run since. Let's look on. You know what's crazy, people? Like, wow. So on the short term, as you can see, the 5-day crossed the 10-day moving average to the upside, and we've seen here signaling that it's going to be obviously, moving up. Here's the highlight of the gold, or the yellow line, sorry. And it continued to stay up. But here's the crazy part. In February of this year, so about 4 months ago, we had a golden cross. You see it right there? Tell me if you guys can see it. We had as you can see, the blue line, same blue lines from AMC, and gold line. So the blue line represents the 50-day moving average, and the gold line represents the 200-day moving average. Look at right there. What do you guys see right there? Exactly on March 2nd of 2023, just literally 3 months ago. What do you guys see? Let's see if people were paying attention throughout the live. Captain No Likey, vote on strike on everything in life these days, I swear. Gorilla Grodd, MMAT is the future. Long on MMAT. Not financial advice. Well, a lot of people are too, brother. So much luck. And honestly, personally for me, things materialize with this. If it doesn't materialize also with MMAT, I'll show some love to the MMAT family and take a really nice position there. For now, mainly for me, it's all day trades, day by day. I don't hold any position. That basically by the end of the day, I'm all cleaned up, tapped out, don't have anything left in the market because of the market and the conditions that we're in. There you go. There we go. Mr. McCohen is showing. Look, not from this world. X again. Yes. Myron Herd Masonry. Golden Cross up. Correct. What did that end? What does a golden cross is followed with? Golden cross is followed with upward movement. Did we get up since March 2nd of 2023? Did we get upward movement on Facebook? We did. So if I was a day trader, and I am, if you were a day trader, going back to March 2nd of 2023, this year, exactly when Facebook was at 151, if you would have seen that golden cross when Facebook was at 151 and you took some sort of position or some calls, because golden cross means upward movement of stock. And for the most part, see, this is the same thing I was just showing you in AMC, and now we're looking at a different chart, and guess what it's showing? What I've been telling you is spot on. If I'm lying, please call me out in here, people. I will switch completely all of this, and I won't talk about it completely. I'll just keep it to myself, and I'll continue, even though I've given you already all the honey, and the land and the way to the land and milk and basically. But if you bought, or if you opened up a position up on that formation of the Golden Cross family at 151, right now you'll be sitting at 273. That's the current price of Facebook. You understand what? If you had some sort of long-term call, let's say you opened up a call position back in March on Facebook at 151 or 152 when you saw the Golden Cross form to the upside. Even if you held a call that's like months out, right now, you would clearly every day, look at this, since that Golden Cross, you've had nothing but upward movement, and leading up to this day, at freaking $273 at this moment as we speak. $273. Do you know how much money that is in options? And guess what's crazy? The 50-day moving average and the 200-day moving average are still so far away from each other, which signifies to me that on a long scale or period, Facebook is still going. So I can see Facebook still possibly breaking $300 until I see these two get closer to each other. Right now, they're moving up toward to meeting each other, so that 50-day could break the 200-day to the downside. that will eventually result into when it will be put season on Facebook, but it's not close yet, and it's not showing here that it will be close yet. And you can see here, in fact, let's look at the death cross, not the gold cross. Let's look at the death cross. And funny thing is, you don't have to go far. You can see it on this same thing we saw on AMC. Data don't lie, family. Look at this. The blue line is the 50-day moving average, right there. That's the gold. The blue line broke the gold in December 15th of 2021. The downside. Guess what happened after the death cross happened? So if somebody got in a put position right here on December 15th, when the stock was at $333, in December 15 of 2021, all the way till literally to like for a whole year until November of 2022, literally for like a stretch of 9 months, they would have been eaten off of those puts that they had from $333 all the way to $8. Now, of course, looking back is easy to see when to buy and when to sell, but it's easy to see when to buy. The hard part is when to sell. And that's when you have to be a seasoned and trained day trader to know when your percentages are, when to collect profits, when to say this is enough. Because it's easy to, like for me, I would say this, speak wholeheartedly. It's easy for me to buy. It's hard to know to sell. And that's why I have my own. That's why seasoned or professional day traders know that they have these percentages, and they just almost act as robotic as possible. They just say, you know what, boom, I'm trading. Like as soon as my position is 30% in the clear, I'm taking profits. Taking profits here, or like my friend owning the float here says normally, taking profits is paramount. You know, I wholeheartedly second that sentiment or that statement. Let's see, what do we have here? XRP is the future, not financial advice. I agree with that. This definitely can jump to 8 in one day. The pressure building on them. Yes, not from this world. Agreed. Mr. McCohen, brother, I've been waiting 2 years for someone to show me this. My hat's off to you. Well, that means the world to me, brother. That's what it's all about. I've been waiting for the right moment for something like this to show up, to be close, so that we're not, like, as you can see in the past months, every time I've called, whenever there was a hype for a run, I've called, be careful, people. Don't get all too crazily excited until, until you have a sure step. What I've always meant about this stuff is to have a clear vision with the data. Now, if I showed you this, people, and this is where people are like, why didn't you show me this before? I showed you this back in, let's say in 2021, 2022. I only made the channel back in 2022, in the early part of 2022. So if I was around before the squeeze of 2021 happened, I'd have definitely also showed you this, people, because it would have been there. But in 2022, we had an AMC, if we open up the chart again, but I want to go back and keep looking at that stuff now again. But from the end of 2021 all the way till the end of 2022, we had nothing but a death cross that materialized in August of, it was in, here, let's look at it. You had the death cross that happened in, I believe, was August 2021, January of 2020. So easy to see. January 5th of 2022. January 5th of 2022, we had a death cross. And at that point, it was a downward sentiment, or the data is telling you that this is going to be a downward movement on the stock. Obviously, we did actually break down, and we never got back. See here on the short term, you might see this. And you're like, oh, AB, look at this. We popped over. The 5-day popped over the 200-day moving average, which indicates what? Just like the 10-day, the purple line breaking over the yellow or the gold, the 200 indicates short-term movements. But the most bullish is the long-term moving averages, which is for me the 50 and the 200, because as you can see, we got so freaking close here in early September, late August, and obviously we know what happened in that timeline. Again, the data doesn't lie, but people do. So it happened then, and we were brought back down, and guess what? Look where we at now. This is the most bullish part, is that all the moving averages are consolidating within the same range. And it's this blue line right here that is almost hidden because it's so zoomed out. Once this blue line right there, break this gold line, the upside, that moment, for me, brothers and sisters, it will technically point that the new trend of the price of the stock is going to be to the upside. At that point, that's when not only will you have institutes buying in because they know that the moving averages are obviously crossing to the upside or golden crosses. Day traders will be coming left and right from nowhere. They'll see this like vultures. But at that point, that's what signifies when shorts will close. Right now, my best bet is that shorts are obviously very terrified, which many of them are also the market makers. Unfortunately, that we have the most corrupt people involved in the most corrupt case of all time. What I believe humbly is the most corrupt case of all time on the stock market. And obviously they're pulling, and they've been pulling and doing all what they could that we know of and we don't know of. Make sure that we don't get what they have, because that's what it's about. In order for you to have it, somebody has to lose it. That's the way of capitalism, my brothers and sisters. In this case, it's just so sweet that what we want is what they have. What they want is what we have. It's clear as day. AB ever hit a long 1 year put? Actually, I have. I've had calls and puts a year out, but I didn't have to hold them for a whole year. That's a different story. They were always because again, that's when your technicals, your personal technicals as an individual, as a trader, come into play. That's what it's all about. When do you have to collect profits? When do you have to let go? When do you sell? When do you collect? And all that is different for each person. Some people are more like, unfortunately, like gamblers. They just were like, you know what? I'm just gonna go in and let's see until the next drop or whatever. That's the number one way to lose all your money in the stock market. I personally think. Well, come on, tell me, people. David Love reverse could do it again. Yeah, I agree. Take your money, man. For sure, not from this world. Myers, 50 EMA crosses 200 EMA upward. Then we have upward movement, which is a golden cross. When it crosses the 200 EMA downward, it's followed by downward movement, which is a death cross. Great teaching. Well, thank you for even being a better teacher, as you just summed it all up in basically one sentence right there. But yes, that's definitely it. And it's important to understand also all the short-term move divergences in the moving averages, because that would help the individual as a day trader as well. And eventually time into the movement of the stock. You need to pick a stock. You need to know how to pick a tree. It's kind of like going to the market, or to the auction. Now you look at the cars, you could have the same, like you could be in the market for a Volkswagen, and suddenly in that auction, they'll have like 20 Volkswagens. How do you know out of those 20 Volkswagens is the best Volkswagen for you is whichever one you choose? How do you choose that one? There's a lot that goes into it. In the stock form, for volatility, you gotta look for volume. If there is none of that, that's terrible for a day trader. This is a day trader speaking to you now. Switch AMC mindset, back to day trader mindset. You have to find a stock. Obviously, the SPY is my most beloved, and some other people's most beloved, or day traders' most beloved, is because it's the most volatile, since it has the most, not necessarily the most volume, but it's the most volatile day, since it's the index for all the S&P 500 presenting it. So, and the beautiful part about it is whatever direction the SPY is going. So, for example, if the SPY is dropping, you look around, you most likely will see Tesla dropping. You'll see many stocks drop at the same time, and vice versa. When it's moving up, you'll also see a rebound throughout the whole market because it represents damn near the market. Facts. EVV. What's up? What, brother? How are you doing? It's been a while since I've seen you. Can we just have a run? Yes, PV. Hopefully we will soon, very soon. Mr. McConaughey, that's been my strategy up until now. I think that's been a lot of people's strategy, brother. PVV, I was in India, now in Europe. What's up, Shirley? Yes. Much love to our brothers and sisters in India. You know, many of my friends that I grew up with here in the States are actually, Indian. And I think I told you this back, PV, back in the days when you were with the Wolfpack station. I think I told you, it was you. Yes, I remember. See, I got sharp memory. All my Punjabi friends and all the bad words that they taught me and all that stuff, trying to attempt to make me play cricket, which was not as did not end well. But the one that it did work out with was with that wrestling game, or the smacking game called Kabaddi. So that was fun because both people are getting smacked the hell up. But yeah, many of my friends are that I'm honored to know and love are from India. I have many that are from the south. I have many that are from the north. I have Paki friends, and I have Punjabi, obviously, friends, Hindu friends, Sikh friends, and it's amazing how not only that their food is amazing, but the people themselves as a culture. It's wonderful, and it's such a huge world that there is a lot, like there's so much wonders about it. So again, not to keep going about it, but yes, that's my experience with my Indian brothers and sisters. Journey to the center of the universe. Maybe is it possible to create the creation of ape and reverse split are part of the managed event to diminish our great future gains? It's very possible, Journey. It's very possible. Excuse me. This is exactly why I say this, because if we went back again, remember this point right here? I was just highlighting it. Back in early September of 2022, we were going to have our moment for this. And suddenly we had an announcement in August, about like in June or July, that APE was going to be, issued as preferred share units. Were going to be issued. And this is just the technicals, or the chart talking to you. Numbers, the data is talking to you, not just what the filings are. The filings have a purpose. Numbers, analytics have another purpose. They tell you the health of the stock. This is kind of looking at a patient. If I was a doctor, if you were, all our doctors in this point, looking at this chart, we're looking at our patient. Our patient right now is AMC, as we're looking at this chart of AMC. And looking here, like when everybody knew July, when I think the announcement was made in early August, I think, 2022. Somebody can put it right here, because dates, they all get mixed in with so many things in this movement that we've been through over the past, for me, 3 years almost. But somebody can put when the announcement was made for the issuance of preferred equity, aka APE, and then right there we had our we were so close because everybody was also buying AMC shares, even institutes, so they can get their hands on APE's free preferred equity. And as you can see, the data here, it has no favoriteness to APE or AMC or any of the stock that we have right now amongst our community. It's very close to formulate a golden cross, which never happened since February of 2020, leading up into the June 2020 run up. That's what the data says. That's what the patient's chart say. and we were brought back down because that's when that happened. The split, aka dividend that was derived from AMC, down. As you can see now, we're in such a bullish position. The moving averages are all that, like the data is telling me this patient is on the verge of waking up out of a coma that they've been in for over 2 years. Let's see. Myers, yes, the 5 and 10 for me is used for that, for scalping and day trading. You and the crazy thing is that the moving averages, they also have a lot in common with like the MACD, for example. Like, you know, you could add, some people like to get creative. Sometimes I like to get creative with the MACD. It's almost very as relevant to, like, you know, when you see the like, you know, the MACD also is almost similar to the moving averages. You could use either. MACD is just almost the same formula almost. Here, let's see if I could add it on this chart right here and see, break it down. Why not? Right down here. You see this? Hopefully you guys can see this. I'm zooming in. MACD's on the bottom, as you can see. The MACD is normally also, for me, utilized for, you could use it for like 1 minute scalping triggers. See right there, but you have to zoom in. I have to zoom in to see it here. See? Yellow is my first signal in the MACD, which is the 12 and the 26. Is the blue signal. The yellow breaks the blue to the upside. What did we have? Upside in volume in the sales. Guess what? This signal was initiated right here, June 14th on AMC. Look at it. What did we have? It's the funny thing is the MACD and the moving average coincide to be around the same exact time. Both broke up to the upside. The 5-day moving average broke the 10-day moving average to the upside as well. Guess what? That signals an upward movement in the stock. What did we have? Upward movement in the stock. See, people, I'll tell you this. There's many places and channels and obviously YouTube worlds that will literally do nothing but charge people for stuff. They will sit there and be like, you know, oh, if you want to change with us, like it's want to trade with us, join our Patreon. You want to see this, and obviously you're constantly just following up their trades, but you're not really learning anything. For me, it's info is free. In my humble, in my way, I think, because I believe that God sends something to you. If you figure something out, pass it on to somebody else. Continue the love. Keep pushing it on, and hopefully it makes a difference in somebody else's life. If it made a difference in your life, maybe it could also make some difference in somebody else's life. Where we're going, ultimately, it's all said and done, we're all gonna die broke. All gonna go to that grave, and we're all gonna be alone in there. So no matter how much money you make, no matter how much you keep, so the only thing you could take with you, as far as I believe or feel, the only thing we're taking with us is our actions that we have done in this life and what we left behind as a legacy. So, much love to the whole entire family. I love you guys. Hey, there's Foo Dog. What's up, brother? G Money, I wonder, can they drop another bomb on us before the next Golden Cross? Repeat the September 2022 date bomb. If so, what would it be? The reverse split? Possibly, brother. Possibly. They do the reverse split. Again, I would say it like this, Myers. Or who asked it again? Sorry, G Money. It technically, or from the data that we're seeing here, if the Golden Cross is made, then we're even if the reverse split was preceded it, we break the Golden Cross. For me, that indicates that we're going to have a run up. It would be unfortunate because we would have obviously less shares, all of us. At that point, no one can dispute that fact. Even the people that says they're okay for the reverse split, no problem. I'm not going to battle you on your thoughts, why you want the reverse split and the conversion and blah, blah, blah. I'll leave that for somebody else to hash out and battle. Again, I don't see eye to eye with that. But if a squeeze was to happen, the day after or whatever, you would probably be easily, like unanimously, everybody should agree to this, probably, my humble opinion, that it would have been so much more lovely had you had 9x amount of your shares left still. So, whatever that might be. That's just my opinion. Yes, family. Oh, Tampa Bay Buckeyes in here. So everywhere else you ask me about Skyline Chili and every other community and every other chat. But here, you don't ask me about anything. Leave this screen up so that in case, or I can get back to the charts if people want me to, or ask me about, to bring up a stock or talk about a stock here for the next few minutes. But in the meantime, let me move this. Yes, I want to remove the display capture. I get back to this. I'll move this. This looks so stupid now. I hate this lag. Be above the flag. It's going to be next to it. All right. Me too, Shirley. I'm glitching too. I love gold and silver too, Gorilla Grodd. Oh yeah. Ooh, happened to what the? You just minimize my picture. All right, let me put the music back on. Music. All right. We also want to look at, let's see, did they, while people don't have much questions, I'm glad you guys are the best family and obviously students to learn something here, because everybody gotten it quick. Not just quick, but it was much smoother than I anticipated. From what I saw also today and yesterday, that Antara the past 3 months they've been continuously, or for the past 2 months, let me be exact, they've been selling Ape, after they made that huge position. They have been, taking slow dumps here and there. And continuously slowly bleeding out Ape. Like yesterday and the day before yesterday, they sold another 4 million preferred units. So they're slowly, limiting their exposure to Ape. Better yet, controlling the price of where it's at as well. Now, with my 69 people in here, no pun intended with the number 69 or 70. I know that have you all hit the like button or not? Come on, smash that thing for your boy. As soon as I mentioned that, guess what? More people just like, screw you. We got what we wanted. We don't want to give you that like button. A lot of people, like I told you guys, or like I told you, family, a lot of people would literally sit there and even if they know stuff like this, they would rather charge people because, let's face it, anywhere you look, Twitter, YouTube, blah blah blah, they see something that works, they're gonna go ahead and hit you up with the oh, it's $9.99, trade for this, blah 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 blah, all the stuff. In the future, once this whole saga is all, the next step for this community, this channel, is going to be basically day traders. Eventually, I would love to make, and I've said this like over a year ago, a hedge fund that ultimately and basically would be a day trader's hedge fund, and it's going to be like, it will be cool. It will be online, like a virtual one. Which ultimately, we could form a freaking board, and imagine if we become Adam Aaron and the board, like AMC right now. If we become the nightmare they are to us now, that would be crazy. Oh man, that's hilarious. Look at that. Gorilla Grodd, bro, I went full BJJ. What happened with Mayweather and that dude? Now his family's getting family threats and shit, death threats. Thank you, Foo Dog. My number one Foo Dog. Thank you, sir, for smashing that like button. Broke Ape, thank you again as well for hitting that. Journey to the center of the universe, HYMC chart. We will look at that before I leave. I'll leave that as the last thing we look at. I would have to, with all these glitches, bring it right back up, but we'll do it just for you, my friend. El Doomslayer, Win Moas. Oh, you should already know that. You should already know that. Win Lambo is the better question. An AMC postcard walks into a bar and orders a beer. The bartender says, "Sorry, we don't serve notice here." You guys are very quick to come up with jokes, and they're hilarious. Oh man, Who Dog might have gotten intimate with the like. Wash your hands. Oh man, you guys are amazing. Airs please, people, hit the like button. He deserves it. AB just gave us valuable info that these YouTube crooks charges. Again, I speak no ill about no other YouTuber. I have mad respect for many people. They all know who they are. I have love for everybody. At the end of the day, we're all human. I just mainly represent and speak for myself. So if I have something that I could help anybody with, and it's right within my power, I will definitely not be late. It's something I can bargain with in front of my Most High, one day and say, hey, I wasn't that bad. Please grant me heaven. Even though I know that I deserve worse and I'm not a great guy. So thank you, Myers, and everybody else in here. G Money, AA, and Clown. One thing about, I'll say this, I see the name. It's not that I don't see it. I refuse to speak ill about others, but I'll tell you this. This is just the way that I am, where I was raised. I'll tell you this. I'll let somebody else do that. But Tony knows. I've been on some lives with Tony. I have mad respect for him. Believe it or not, people, first live I have ever done on a bigger platform was with Pantheon, which is one of my number one family brothers, and Massalorian and Tony. And I look forward to do it again anytime in the future. At the end of the day, we all might not agree many things, not just on one or two things. But for me personally, I always speak my mind, my heart. I lead my path. I don't let anybody lead mine. And I know that Tony is a man that does the same way himself. He doesn't follow, he leads, especially when it's his own path now. Since some of the things that we don't agree on, I hold mad respect for him still. And I know that the feeling is mutual. At least to the best of my knowledge. I've never seen Tony come out there and say, AB is this, AB is that, AB is this. but I always leave personally what I'm trying to get to all of you people and family members is that I leave the door open. Anybody to perhaps, what if they see something different in the future? I don't want to break a bridge with anybody. You never know when either you or them have to recross it again. Again, we're all human at the end of it. So if we approach this differently, I would love for one day, pretty soon, hopefully, to reach somehow as some way people might view us as leaders in the movement. In a way, I don't see myself as such. However, if we have any type of influence on the rest of the community, is the number one thing is the way that we're going about our disagreements with each other should not be the way that it is. The fact that we call names and all that, we set examples to the rest of the community. And when you have community members, like I go through this all the time. Believe it or not, people say, B, most people can't be wrong with you. You never go across nobody and whatever. But believe it or not, my Twitter account still gets a lot of like stupid threats or stupid stuff, calling me shill, calling me this and all that stuff. And for me, it's like, why am I even signing up for this headache? I'm a day trader who does really well on his own. And I'm not speaking up on myself here. I'm just telling you the truth, guys. I'm speaking my heart out here to you. So don't let the tears come out, okay? So when I hear that stuff, people come at me like that and they call me this shill and whatever, it's okay. I could possibly be wrong. No one is perfect. But the way that you go about it as a human, that's a big time shame on you. As an individual, whoever you are out there. Honestly, I don't need this. However, this is my family. Like, you guys are my family. I wouldn't change it for the world. You guys will always be a part of my life. Hopefully always be a small part of your life, even forward with AMC or without in the future. And the only thing, like I said, I would like to go back to is one thing I would wish for is if we can change the way that we go about disagreeing with each other. It does not have to be name calling. Both sides, whether no or yes, I hate the word sides, should be able to disagree with each other. And guess what? At the end of the day, since I'm a hodler, you're a hodler. I don't see eye to eye with you. You don't see eye to eye with me. But I still fucking love you. I still fucking respect you. Because you mean a lot to me since we're both holding this thing. We're in it to win it. We're in it together. If we don't, we're all going down together. It's us against them. It's not us versus us. So from the bottom of my heart, I would love everybody, if I leave everybody with something here, at least tonight, besides all the technicals on the charts, is to remember the bigger picture. That even if someone else is not in agreement with you, at the end of the day, in it to win it. Same side, we're still hodlers. Yes or no, we're hodlers. The process is going to work itself out. Some people try to milk this thing because a lot of people like the negativity. A lot of people like the exotic. F you, F him, yeah, meet me, catch me outside, and all this shit. I'm too grown for this shit. I come from a different culture and I come from a different breakup or the way I was raised to not, go about or handle things in that demeanor, in that manner. You don't carry yourself that way as a man, or even, for my sisters as women. So we need to change definitely the way that we handle this. Yes, no, does not matter. At the end of the day, I don't agree with you. That does not mean I have to evaluate you. That doesn't mean I have to tear you down. That doesn't mean I need to talk shit about you, all this stuff. Both sides are equally explicit or complicit, sorry, to this whole notion of negativity and what happens, how this divide and this split is occurring in our own, backyard, our own community. So yeah, so I have mad love and respect for. I have mad love, respect, of course, for Pantheon. I was just, texting him the other day, and we talk back and forth, every now and then. I see some comments here that says he's busy. Yes, he is. He is busy as hell. He got a big boy job that many of us would never even be able to dip their toes in that shoe, let alone their foot. So much love to him, and hopefully he can continue to be bigger and bigger and represent us as an ape out there in the world, in his realm. All will rally around him. I have mad love for, owning the float. I don't have to tell you guys, I don't even have to tell him how much love I got for this man. I learned a lot from all these people. CSI. One time I wasn't on the camera live, but I was on the phone live. So I made a brother that night. I told him this. We had a really crazy nice connection. Donnie Hugh George. I deal with this guy on a personal level in messages, in a group message with other wonderful creators like Mike the Marine. I see how these guys speak and how they carry themselves. These guys are men just like you and I. They're good people. They're really good people. They have good hearts. Even if any of us are wrong about something, that doesn't mean we are the freaking enemies. At the end of the day, we're all the same freaking stock. That way I see it. So hopefully you guys don't, crucify me for all of this that I just said. See. I was thinking about Pantheon. Where is that guy? Yeah, PV. He's very busy. Like I said, very busy. He's, with his life and his job. He's around. I don't know if I'm supposed to be saying this, but I'll say it anyways. But he's still holding. He's with the community. He's down. He's down with the family. We just all missed that radio. I know you guys miss Pan. Sweet, silky smooth radio sound. You guys remember those days? I like watching CSI. We all do. Yes, positively broke Ape. Thank you, brother. EVAB, don't be a Gandhi. The moment you say something he doesn't like, Tony will trash talk and call you a clickbait tuber. Eye for an eye. That's my policy. Well, guess what? I'd rather be remembered as a Gandhi than to be remembered as a. Go ahead. You guys fill in the blank on that one. But I would be very honored to be remembered as a Gandhi. Even though, like I said, I personally have never, Tony, like I said, I've been on a couple of lives with him directly calling me something, against me with something. He could always, he reached out to me personally before. I've reached out to him personally before. He knows where my domain is my YouTube channel. He can reach me also on Discord or whatever. And if he has any beef with AB, he could definitely give me the beef there, and we'll hash it out. I'm pretty sure we'll walk out on the other side as brothers. I'm pretty sure. But yes, they were the first people I've ever done a joint live in front of the whole community, and that was back in early 2022. It's an amazing one. I'll probably reshare it again just to bring it out of the archives from the old good old days. You know who's also very interesting as a person, and he's probably not in here anymore. He was here earlier. Number One Son. I like to go to his channel and watch his videos, and there's something about that gentleman or that brother who that keeps you not only wanting to come back or listen to him, but he's got this mindset that is so gravitating that you gravitate to. Like, it's just he could be really hilarious and funny, like literally very hilarious and funny, and he could be very real. He could be very serious. He could be all of that, and most importantly, be very creative and artistic. That guy had mad talent. So big shout out and much love to Number One Son as well. That's one individual that I definitely have personally when he first came around, I told him to make sure that he continues coming up, and because he does make a difference personally in my life. I love watching his videos, I love watching his content, and I love him for him, what he is. AB Day One, well, Bro Cape, you are my Day One fam. Big salute and much love to you, brother. Journey to the center of the universe. Emotions are high for sure. They are high for sure. But it's important for us to be bigger individuals, much larger than life, my humble opinion, to be able to handle our emotions or our differences in a way that not even these freaking short hedgies have nothing in common with us mentally, emotionally, way of life can ever anticipate. Food Dog, I think Pantheon is busy punching babies and saying I'm Batman. Somebody needs to clip these moments right here and send it over to Pantheon. I know he would laugh his ass off in this moment. Oh man. Will you please do a video on how to use TradingView chart one day? Myers, yes, I definitely will do that. For you, I will definitely do that. Love to do that. It's not, it actually might, like trading view is even a whole lot easier than the one that I was using. That was a chart with Webull. Food dog, am I wrong, Pantheon? So document that in that clip and send it to him, to the man. Oh man. G Buddy AB, the one guy who keeps it 1,000 on the Nasdaq and in life. Damn. Hey, I'm worried about the crash, G Money. When the Nasdaq crashes, AB stock is not 1,000% down. Oh, oh my god. Oh, you guys are killing me. Oh my god. Let's see, what do we have here? Yes, Myers, I agree. Yeah, I speak to all those brothers like literally on a daily basis. And the one funny thing about CSI, this is a funny story. You guys would definitely, I know you guys would love to hear the backstories or the back end and all stuff to things. Uh, CSI, because he has the way his schedule works, he's like, for me, as at being at Pacific time in the East Coast, you know, when CSI normally works, like he works all night. Like, you know, I've stated this previously before, where he's a hawk. He works all night freaking long. Like this guy goes at it all night and day long. And this guy literally, like throughout the night, he will find stuff as he's doing, you know, research all the time. He's looking at things and he will start going off like literally like on the message and say, hey, this, that. There would be times where I wake up and it's like, is it Moas yet? Nope, it's 4 a.m. Oh my god, I love that guy, man. I love CSI. Much love to you, brother. Um, Marco Ibarra, how are you, sir? I had a friend who has the same last name. Her name was Jasmine Ibarra. Amazing individual. Is very, very, very good friend of mine. Hopefully, you guys are not related. If you are, that'd be cool as hell. Tampa Bay Buckeye, better to Pantheon than Pantheon. I see what you did there. That's just funny. Even see, Shirley's laughing her ass off on that. All right, I have to. Where is our? Who asked? Who was it that asked about HYMC chart? Let's see. If you're still here, show yourself so that we could pull it up after. I want to go pull it up, and you're not here. Who was it? Oh, there it is. Journey. All right, Journey. Here, let me bear with me so I could. Ah. We can do a lot of this, you know, a lot of times, guys. Anytime you would like. You guys just put up like ticker symbols, stocks, and we could go through them. Is it? Okay, display capture. Just with the lag, it's taking a little bit. There. I used to have HYMC in my list. I think it's still there, but let's look it up. It's not. I took it off a while ago. Broke Abe. Abe without being banned. Can you chart rocks for me? I got you, of course. Oh man. Any ideas on the new total return swaps rule? I not Foo Dog. I will take a deeper dive for you on that one, and I'll get back into it on the next live, perhaps the video. But keep that, like, remind me next time you see me of it, because I will bring it if I don't bring it up myself. But I'll definitely keep that, and I'll do a deeper dive on you. I don't want to just give you the here you go answer. We all know how those are. There's a lot of people that do those. All right. It is good. It's good. What is good? Let's see. All you perfect traders now. So of course we're gonna go back to our of truth back in April 1st, 2022. April 1st, April 2nd. That's when it was 238. That's not the all-time high. That was the last moment of truth. Excuse me. The last moment of truth that we had. Going all the way back to right here. I believe this was the last time we were in those high ranges. $14, but when was this? August of 2020. It was around the $15 range. So as you can see here, we had a death cross. It's pretty open. I can see it. You don't even have to look deep to see that. We see it right here, which again, death cross indicates what? Bearish movement, bearish long-term movement for a stock. Did we get bearish bearish movement on the stock? We did. See it right here. Now, you look here, and that's interesting. Look, that is very, very, very interesting. I had a golden cross right there. And ever since then, you see that? It didn't cleanly break. As I told you guys before, you want to normally give yourself that cushion to see it break cleanly, as it was right here at 134, initiated, and before it went even anywhere else, like a 161. You did have the upward movement right there, the channel. But what happened here? Something happened with HYMC. April of 2022. Because as you can see, it was followed August, just 4 months later, was followed with a death cross. So between April of 2022 till August of 2022, can anybody tell me what happened? HYMC community, can you tell me? Can you tell me what happened in between those 4 months? I know for a fact something must have happened with HYMC. Like as far as the filings, that's where it goes into the filings. Did any reverse split happen? Did something else happen between April and August of this past year in 2022? Let's see. Yeah, I need to remember that. Broke Ape, remind me of Crocs on the side once we finish with HYMC. Uh, I feel bullish. Didn't HYMC just recently acquire the Rosebud Mine property? And I don't that I know of. I see. Food Dog, I feel bullish. Also, I don't have a bull touching fetish. Maybe. uh Journey said 200 crossing blue line. Yeah. So does anybody can see, because this thing is slow for me here. Here, I could actually look. I could look it up. I'll look it up here on HYMC. Any of you holders of HYMC in this? I'm not holding an HYMC, but anybody in here is holding HYMC. Do you remember anything happening this last year, 2022, between April and August? Let's see. Anybody? Let's see. I can't find nothing here. Let me look at the headlines. It's going to be wild to try to figure out what happened in between those 4 months. Excuse me. And between April, August of 2022. I got a better idea. Let's look at the news. Oh. We'll find this, Journey. Find this. I can't find any headlines that have happened. However, as you can see here, HYMC did have a death cross right there on the daily. See that? Let's see if it's even here on the weekly. Okay. Make sure that, dear brothers and sisters, that you're always looking more than one time frame. Day traders, there's no set time frame that is the bread and butter. You know, like to have a better about or making the best decision going forward, you've got to look at most of the time frames and more than one time frame to have more confidence in your trade or what you're going to do to see it through. So yes, we still see the death cross right there. May 12th, which was this last month. That's not the death cross. That's on the 30-minute. So see it on the daily. So back here, so on April 26th of 2022, it had a golden to the upside, but obviously it didn't materialize through on a daily. You could see that, and it had a death cross after that to break down. And as you can see, it just been consolidating ever since. It did have a downward movement, so it's been moving down just like the technicals would suggest that it should. It was moving down. It still is, but look where we're at now. Is there something on the horizon for HYMC? Please don't tell me there is a reverse stock split in the works or in the process. Please tell me that there is no reverse stock split on the books. See, on the shorter time frames, even like Broke Ape here suggested, like the 15-minute time frame, you see here there's also a death cross right there formed. What did we get? Drop price. Here we go for shorter period times, and we see the 5 and the 10-day moving averages. You see the 5 crosses the 10 to the upside. Yeah, we did have a up movement. This is Elliott waves for you right there. A, B, 2, 3, 5, and A, B, C. It's that's a different right there. And then right there, we had the 5-day break, the 10-day to the upside as well, but we see it right there breaking it to the downside, brings us down, then it breaks it again to the upside. You see upward movement. Right there, there was a divergence and a fake out, so it basically breaks, but it doesn't really hit, and that's what I meant earlier as far as like the break. You want to be a little sure, have a sturdier step than to get in somewhere and it's like, oh, right back down, as you can see right here. On the long term, and then here we've seen another on the 15-minute. Not good thing. Another death cross, but these are on the shorter term. So these are for like so far right now. You're seeing it from the last death cross we've seen here was on the May 23rd, 24th. Now on June 7th, we've seen another. You see the consolidation and that how they're pulling up. You see the 50-day moving average is moving up. Please tell me that there are no, like, what's in the works or what's in the horizon for HYMC? Is there something that is huge, or perhaps a reverse stock split or some shit? As once this thing breaks this thing right there, it will initiate to will point to a massive move to the direction, the change in direction in the price movement, stock behavior, changing the trend from bearish to bullish for long term. Now let's look at this. When we zoom out, this ties back to the early days when I was telling you guys all about the bull flag nation. Uh-oh, look who's that. There we go. Diaz is in the house. What's up, soldier? How are you, brother? Nice to see you in here, man. It's been a while, brother. So as we can see here with HYMC as well, it doesn't have the same magnitude of AMC, and I'll tell you why, as far as like, or what I believe, again, of like a bull flag formation, because here, as you can see, yes, we do have a higher high, and it's not the same. It's not a bull flag formation at all, because this was just a rip right here, and then obviously we had the death cross right there, and it dropped it right back down. See, the cool thing about this, and let me show you something, guys. Let's remember this chart, and let me bring up AMC. Let me show you what is so violent about AMC. What's so crazily bullish about AMC? You see, this was the June run up. This is what you call, technical world, there is also another name for this. Named it in many lives in the past. Right here. It's so hard with the lag. See? Right there. We got it done. Much love, OG. Much love, Diaz. So in other layman or technical terms, what AMC also have, besides looking at the averages and all that stuff, we also have what I personally have called out forever a bull flag formation. This is the same bull flag formation that the best example I could give you that formed over back in the days with Dogecoin. It was literally the same looking setup. And the crazier part with bull flag formations is that, and I've said this like in so many lives in the past, put a finger, a thumbs up, not a finger, put a thumbs up. If you have heard me say this in the past or explain this in the past, bull flags are basically this formation as you see. Here's the stand, here's the pole of the flag. And then ever since then, we've had nothing but bearish sentiment, obviously followed with all this death crosses and all the trap mines and World War III situations and all that stuff. Crazy thing here, family, is that when bull flags break out, when we break out of bull flag levels and we form and we see bull flag formations go through, you damn near always break and form a new all-time freaking high. That's what happens with bull flags. So that's the difference here. You've seen how this is like different from HYMC, and this is like a 2-year, 2.5 year, no, exactly, to be exact, this is a 2-year chart right there. This is the price action that we've had over the past 2 years since the June run-up of 2021. That's if you guys can see the lines and the drawings that I've made, that's basically a bull flag for you, starting with that pole right here in the June run-up. And now we're here. I'm just waiting for this thing to go over, and whether it here or whatever, the 50-day to cross the 200-day average, which will signify when it breaks it cleanly. Hopefully not like this back in August and September of 2022. You see how close we got? That once we break it, once you break out of a bull flag, it's always, mostly it's always a new all-time freaking high. That's what we we should all have start like a paper trade challenge accounts and have fun and learn a lot from it. Like I do it all the time to constantly stay fresh. If you want to stay as a fresh day trader, you gotta constantly be trading. It's like drugs in your veins. You gotta constantly be trading so you can stay fresh and polished. Jeffrey's here, the only one I can find. Alice, how are you doing? Let's see. Bulls cucumber. Did I miss the good news? Well, not entirely. You can always go right back to it, Tara. Dog is on the roll tonight. I love it. So yeah, that's right there, guys. What the mighty power of what our chart looks like. Not only are we close to a golden, we're also in the same time we'll be close to break out of a bull flag. We're gonna be so freaking. I'm not gonna use somebody else's line. We're gonna be so freaking that happened because the rip, in my humble opinion, this is just my opinion, is gonna be so freaking wild that that people are just gonna either be in tears by saying I waited so long for this, or they're gonna be like, oh my god, no way! I wish I still have every single share. I wish I believed such and such and bought more of this thing. KL, how are you? Yes, yes, I am up late. It's nice, nice. All right, we had was it that asked about was it Crooks? Who was it? Hide me. Was it? Was Gorilla Grodd, are you buying any hard assets to hedge for banks crashing? See, here's the thing, Gorilla Grodd, and oh, is it loading, pausing, or what? Did you guys see the screen, or is it just me that it's doing this loading weird thing for? Anybody there? Jeffrey is like, hola. Let's see. Okay, now we're back. Now I can see it again. Sorry, guys. Now I can see you. I was like, what the hell happened here? It was paused. So now I can see the whole thing again. I think opening up my charts is something is shorting the shit out of my stream, but at least the good stuff was out of the way. That's all that matters. And hopefully everybody was able to see what I was coming out with, you know? Yes, Gorilla Grodd. Thank you. You can say it. You can say it for him. Yes, so here's the thing, Gorilla Grodd. Answering the question that you asked, am I buying hard assets and all this stuff? Yes, I am buying hard assets. I am buying into like houses and lands and even overseas, not just here. But here's the thing: I want to speak to people, and maybe we can make a live or video about this one day. And this is where it gets kind of deep. I personally have such huge belief in Bitcoin and in crypto, but mainly in Bitcoin, because it's something that can't be shut down no matter what. So Bitcoin to me is, if you look at the math, or if you do you look at it from a deep perspective or a long-term perspective, if your money is in dollars, even if you have, let's say, $10 million in the bank, it's all about the currency at that point to tell how much poorer are you or how much money are you losing out of the money that because inflation, factoration, and the strength of that particular currency. Let's say I have 10 million Mexican pesos. Like, every year, that 10 million, for however much it's worth, however much of wealth that is, every year, because of the strength of the pesos and how much it loses value and inflationary factors that's going into it, every year my wealth is literally dropping by XYZ percentage. And it's important to do those analysis, to look at those things in that demeanor. Now, if you look at the dollar, American dollar, you're technically, even if you have $10 million in the bank, instead of you losing all your money in a year versus like if you had it in pesos or other weak currency out there, like the Lebanese, I think is dinar there. It's every year your wealth is dropping, even if it was in dollar, and dollar is supposed to be the strongest currency in. Yes, I get it. Hard assets like gold, that's an asset, that's a liquid asset that it will take you. We just talked about that the other day on that one video. The liquid assets are assets that take you time to try to get rid of. You can't just sell instantly. And value of it fluctuate, of course, with the gold, depending on how the market is and all that stuff, which, again, don't get me wrong, it's good. But even if you're like money, even if you're saving it and you're just leaving it in the bank, you have $10 million in American dollars. Dollars losing on a yearly base. So instead of you losing your money all in 1 year, or you become basically like Argentina's currency, from year to year, your fortune, it's in that Argentinian currency, it's losing somewhere between 60 to 80%. That's wild, if it's value, because of the weakness of that currency. So then you have the dollar, which is supposed to be one of the strongest and the most notarized currency or fiat money that is used in the world. So when you have the dollar, you're still losing money, but instead of losing it all in a year or two, eventually that 10 million will probably be completely gone within 10 to 15 years. Factor in inflationary factors and the obviously the weakness or the strength index of the currency itself. So my ultimate wealth, where I see wealth, is personally for me is in crypto, but specifically not just any crypto with all this BS out there. A lot of people are so bullish. I'm XRP. I want to, you know how they say, when I want to stop the bullshit and just put my money where my mouth is, it's Bitcoin without any hesitations for me. It's not financial advice, but this is where, because in Bitcoin, you're actually not just storing your on it, but importantly, you're keeping the value of your currency, which is in crypto and Bitcoin. You're not losing anything. No inflationary factor is going to deal with that or screw you over. So sorry. Hopefully that answer was much more than anticipated or asked for. But again, it's a deep question, and it rightfully so. It requires a deep answer. Hopefully that answers it, brother. Banks are on the edge. Lending is down. Deposits are down. Commercial real estate is defaulting on loans. Don't take much to blow them over. Yes, and to add on to that, Gorilla Grodd, amazing facts that you just put right there. We'll start with one by one. One, you have commercial banks. There we go. Wake and bake. CSI is in the house. What's up, brother? How are you doing? CSI, if you wanna hop on for a few minutes, or I could be gone soon. I know this is normally your time where you go on. I could be gone. I don't have to carry it on, but if you even want to pop on, I can send you a link. Just send me an email or in the message, send me your email, and I'll email you a link. So you could use your software. You don't even have to use your phone, but you could use your phone if you want to come on. But back to that statement that Gorilla Grodd was making. This is macro shit, guys. So when thank you, Gorilla, for the perfect answer sentiment. So with commercial loans, let's start with that, or commercial real estate. Why is it breaking down? One, the fact that so many, like the banks get money from the feds. You go to the bank, you ask for a 30-year mortgage, or you ask for a 30-year on a house. That's residential. We didn't even talk about commercial yet. But technically, commercial loans are technically just about in the same format, but just higher money, higher amounts. So in 2020, 2021, easy money, interest rates, easy, nothing. Come in. You want it, you can have it. Just come and ask for it. We give it to you. You don't have a mother's median name? Don't worry about it. Just put your neighbor's mother's median name and we'll give it to you still. I mean, it was that stupid and it was that easy. And next thing you know, now for the past year or so, when the feds have been hiking rates, you know, now these banks, especially the smaller banks, and this is very important to focus on, guys. It's important to focus on why the smaller banks are the main target here, and why the bigger entities that are considered too big to fail, like the big 5 or 6 banks, are these, like the feds have made it clear that they will take care of those entities, because face it, whether we like it or not, or whether anybody likes it or not, those big banks are tied to the rest of the economy. We want MOAS. Somehow it's tied up with these major banks or major entities, at least one of them breaking down, and then the government has to come in and bail out. Maybe perhaps all of them. The government is directly on a cross path against us, that is directly against us, that says, no, I don't want no, like, yeah, the taxpayers are going to pay the bailout. I don't want a full-on breakdown, because one bank goes down. We've seen what happened with 2008. One of the big major banks that are too big to fail entities going down means the whole entire economy is tied up to it through other strings and other rules. It doesn't even have to be direct. It could be very indirect, but everybody is connected to the same web. The whole entire web will come freaking down, come down crashing. So when these people were like, these banks were hollering out, giving out easy money, guess what? Now that the feds have kept hiking rates, smaller banks have been in stress. They have issued out loans that they are personally drowning in. To your point, Gorilla Grodd, yes, 100%. That that they are drowning in. Even if you're making your payment or not, they're like, please default on this shit. We don't want you. We don't want this fucking loan. We're drowning on it. And the next thing you know, of course, people in this market now are very afraid. Look at the times. It's just the perfect conditions for the perfect storm. You got people being scared, so they all are going making bank runs. So that same bank that is hurting on these commercial loans or even retail loans, now they got to deal with bank runs. People trying to take their money out, and guess where they're taking them? To the bigger banks or perhaps crypto banks. But most of them are taking them to bigger entities, the bigger banks that they feel are much more protected or much more protected from the proof to any oh oops, your money is totally gone. FDIC, go call them. Here's your number to call the FDIC. So people were doing that. Now those smaller banks like Signature, SVB, there's many more on the line. I predict this, and maybe many of you know this, but if you don't, you heard it here. Many of these other banks now, they have to, not only they're underwater, but they have to also deal with bank runs, which is why the Federal Reserve steps in and all this repo, reverse repo comes in to try to, hey, you know what, let's alleviate this. Smaller banks are being devoured by those big, too big to fail entities. Now, where does this bring us? The commercial property. Why is it not being purchased? Like there's these, like if you go downtowns of bigger cities, you'll see New York, San Francisco, LA, Chicago. You'll see many of these downtowns like buildings, commercial buildings. They're like third or fourth of them is freaking empty. Why is that? Here's why. Even if an entity or a bank has enough money to buy a property, commercial property, they're purposely in these times, and you can go and fact check me, people. Go ask real estate agents that deal with commercial property, especially in downtown, in your downtown. Go ask in your own downtown. I dare you, you'll find what I say here is true. The banks or the entities, even if they can afford that property, they're not purposely, on purpose, not buying that. The reason why they're not buying it is because they know that everybody out there is stressed the hell out. And it's only a matter of time before this same property that is, let's say it was $80 million. And right now, the person who wants to get rid of it is thirsty and saying, you know what, I'll sell it to you for $50 million. I'll take a $30 million cut or loss on this. Give me the $50 million. While that's a good deal because that's a good drop, the entity, even if it has the $50 million, it's still not buying it. The bank's still not buying it, right? Because it knows that in due time, that same building that was $80 million now offered for $50 million, just please buy it, is going to be auctioned and foreclosed at some point real soon, and they can get their hands on it probably at $10 million. So they just kept $40 pocketed for. That's exactly what the hell is happening right now. Any city that you're in, as far as in the commercially in the commercial real estate. Where's Gorilla Grodd? Am I on the spot? Do you agree with me on this? Do you see eye to eye with this with me? Because that's what's happening. The with the real estate and commercial, you know, the banks being on the edge and all that. And that, hopefully I covered it from all angles. I think I did. Won't take much to blow them over. Yes. Defaulting. Yes, indeed. So that's my wrap, and we can get in deep details with that stuff. We'll leave it for another time. We've already been on for about 3.5 hours of family. So yes, that hopefully that wraps that up. DS Bitcoin is a storage of wealth. Hell yeah. See, if the DS guy agrees with me, then we're good. AB is right. It is in its infancy stage and will remain the top crypto investment. Yes, brother, I second that. CSI is trying to wrap his head around all the news that that happens in 4 hours while I am sleeping. Oh, there's big stuff coming. Look, Jeffrey's loving it. Dude, I just watched a video by Thomas James calling Mike a shill. See, that's the stuff. Like, see, I don't know this James guy, and it's unfortunate, like, how people who, like, if we were to ask this James guy that, you know, CSI just talked about, I know that he's a YouTuber. I've never seen his stuff, but I heard a lot that he screams all the time on his videos or whatever stuff. That's his thing. You know, I'm not going to talk shit on the guy, whatever. I don't know him personally. That's why I say this. If you talk to James, have he ever spoke to Mike? Have he ever spoke to him? See, the world that I come from, if you've never spoke to me, if you don't know me, if you never dealt with me, how can you call me something? See, we live in the world, brothers and sisters, where unfortunately people just will throw something out there and see what sticks. And that's unfortunate, and unfortunately that's the reality that we live in these days. There's a bunch more punks out there than real men and women out there, and I missed that age before. Hey, you don't know me, don't speak ill about me. So if we were to ask James, this James guy, do you know Mike person? Do you know this person? Have you anything about him? Did you deal with him on a personal level? If the answer is no, then how could you have any credibility of calling anybody anything? What you say is reversed right back onto you. That's my response to that. If I was Mike, that's what I would say. Mike, where has Diaz been? Yeah, right. Where have you been, Diaz? Young macho savage. Should we all opt out of the settlement? Hey, what you do, brother, is or brother or sister, is what you do. I can't, like, honestly, I don't know. Like, that's a good question maybe for CSI. He does a lot of research. He's completely hands-on with the case as far as the case thinks. I'm a trading guy. Not saying that, you know, CSI isn't, or any other YouTuber out there isn't, but this is just CSI's specialty. Since you got the wizard of Delaware in here, why not, you know, direct it to him? I think I might have a lawyer to represent the gunner objections. Hell yeah. I remember Mike was talking about, or made a video today where he said something about, you know, like we should have, you know, a lawyer representing the you know, the retail, the objectors basically into this. And, you know, I'm all about fair fighting chance for something. So I'm cool with that, Mike. Let's see. For Lagrad, oh, I agree 100%, brother. And even some of the people in these loans with commercial banks feel like a default. And buying back later at lower price would be a smart move. Exactly. 1000%, brother. That's what they would do if they know. See, most of the recessions, they happen because they, like, sometimes they're forced. It's not that they happened, they're forced. Like, if everybody wants, or everybody thinks recession, they stop spending. Guess what? You just forced the recession. Everybody thinks the same. No more spending out there. These businesses go down. This goes down. When banks stop buying, you know, commercial property, or people default, so will banks on these loans that they have borrowed also from the feds. You would have a recession. So it's crazy how it's a big world, yet it's very small, because one trickle in the body could make a lot of damage. Let's see. you guys definitely still got about 45 people in here. You guys definitely like to stay up late. See, here you go. CSI is telling you I'm not opting out. Oh, he said Mike is a shill because he's against the reverse stock split. See, this is the thing. Like that's the most bland reasoning for some, like, to call somebody something. Like, okay, you agree with something, I don't agree with something. Who's to say that you are right and I'm wrong? The fact that you said it was so. Again, I don't know this guy, so from what I'm hearing here is, if he ultimately, I'll wrap it with this: if he never met, spoke to Mike on a personal level to formulate his thoughts about him, then he's a flawed man, just like everybody else himself, calling out people names and stuff without even knowing what they're about. Just because he's against the reverse stock split, why not? This is freaking America. Actually, it's good to have the opposition in order for us to have the right position ultimately. So a position always needs an opposition so that we can ultimately come up with the right position. That made sense to people. Yeah, lawyer will sign me up. Going to have a push for people to leave Allegheny, switch to a new. Down with it. I heard someone saying half the shareholders need to sell to bring the MOAS. See, I can see where that thought is coming from, Jeffrey, whoever that person is. So they're probably thinking like this. Whoever this person is, maybe you could be like, hey, AB knows what you're thinking, or why the premise of your thoughts, how she formulated their thoughts. They're thinking that over the long term, that shorts and brokers have issued out so many shares that they can never buy all of them back at ludicrous prices. So the fact that we've been stretched out for so many years, along the line, so many people faltered and they couldn't last or hang on. So therefore, they sold. And that's the strategy that the shorts or the brokers and market makers have been using in order for them to get to an amount, ultimately to be able to do what? That they can handle. They can't handle all the people that's on this wagon, but they can handle half the people on the wagon. I'm pretty sure that's where the thoughts are. I can agree with some of that sentiment, but in a different way, not in that way. Some of it makes sense, but I not exactly like in those exact numbers, like half needs to sell. Well, how would we know what's half and why particularly half? If the market maker was waiting for half, then why not drag it on longer and wait for all? Right? That's the first argument to that notion. I think I got that right. Hell yes, yes, I see. See, as soon as I look down, I see that. Yeah, I totally agree to that. Too many people to get paid? Yeah. Only 11:12 here. Night is young. Oh, that's why. Team no sleep. Where you at? Oh man. Let's see. What else do we have here? GG, what's up? What's that song? No sleep till Moas. I'm using that, AB. Udog MMs are exempt from locates. All right. Shirley's also exempt. Udog is bringing it on to Shirley tonight. Good people, good families. So, guys, we broke down the charts as we saw earlier. We'll do more of this and all that. I was definitely, I had the pleasure to have amazing questions also today. Brother Villagrad brought the excitement out of me with some of these questions that he brought on. Valid, macro level questions on real time what's happening in our world and in our great country here, or the globe, overall, our world. And I love it. Like it felt great to be throughout this live. Thank you guys. Thank all of you. You know, like young Macho Savage. Like, how are they still selling AMC stock? The show must keep going on until the curtain drops. Music must continue. And the funny thing is, right underneath that, you see the Gorilla Grodd answer, the music notes. So I love all of you. Thank you so much from the bottom of my heart to all the family are giving me such an amazing time tonight. I did not anticipate we'll be going on for this long. But you guys are the best that any community could ever be. You guys are the best community out there. You guys are the best family anyone could ask for. I love you, all of you from the bottom of my heart. Let's see what happens. Obviously tomorrow and these upcoming days, let's see what happens. And if you walked away with anything from this live, I just want to leave you with this. Much love, AB Investments.